धिन धागे न तिनक 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 धिन.
Every day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the. Because they only telling their side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Morid. And poor rich kids get their money on phone it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We going up, yeah. We got the goods. Build them assets, build them up fast. Get rid of cash before the whole market crash. A news flash, just a blast from the past. We gonna smash it. Be prepared to hit the gas, yeah.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel.
Drive.
Blood eye, and we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, and we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah. Sherry know I got from Virginia, yeah.
I know I'm more because I'm blessed. I know I'm more. I passed the test.
We got to see with the true eyes. We need some brand new bright ideas. We got the hearts and some great minds, yeah. If we could all just be sincere.
Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel.
Drive.
Blood eye, and we travel.
Woo. That's my child. Woo.
Blood eye, and we travel. Build a land, get the wealth, change your name up. Get the title in your hands, switch the game up. Melanation, elevation, arise. We the vibe, blood eye, and we travel. Hey, hey, hit him with the high, yeah.
Peace to the party. It's your homeboy back again with the news. Hey, appreciate y'all coming back for another edition of the Sunday service with the Autonomous Party. Before we get to the lecture of the day, Oliver Cromwell's connection to the Black Jew is going to be a good one. So make sure you got everything situated when we get into the bill. But before we get to that, bro, you know how a lot of times social media and just being in tap with the people is what a lot of times craft these news segments, right? And so this one, it's been going around. You may have heard about it. So on social media, it's a lot of people talking about how the Trump administration, they got rid of professional degrees, and one of them was nursing. So it's been a big uproar to the fact of I seen people saying stuff like, soon as Black women start getting out of degrees, they don't want to make them professional no more. So it's pretty crazy, but it's just another, I seen a post that came out, and basically it was exposing some of these Black blogs that be creating this division between Black men and women and just crazy topics. It a lot of time be foreigners who doing this for their own financial gain, right? But we be really buying into this, taking this stuff so personal without even really doing the research, just run with a narrative. It's really crazy, bro. All right, so we got to talk about it. I'm gonna play this video that I heard from this sister, man. She broke it down in a very intelligent way that a lot of people are able to follow. And I did the research based on what she said. But let's start with the video. Let's let her break it down, and then we're going to take it from there. So let me get this loaded up.
Uh-oh. The Department of Education doesn't think that nurses are professionals. That sounds dramatic. It also sounds so insulting, but it's just not true. And let me explain. Nurses are professionals. CRNAs, professionals. NPs, DNPs, all professionals. None of that is changing, not even a little bit. What is changing is the thing that universities hope that you wouldn't notice. The federal government is finally turning off the unlimited money hose. For years, graduate programs could charge any tuition they wanted because the government would always let students borrow enough to cover it. No cap, no limit, no financial pressure, and schools took full advantage. $80,000 programs became $150,000, $120,000 programs became $200,000 programs. Tuition rose faster than inflation, wages, and the cost of actually providing that education. Not because it cost that much to train, but because they knew that you could borrow that much money. Unlimited loans equal unlimited tuition hikes. Now, here's the part that you need to hear. When you remove unlimited borrowing, the government says no more blank checks, there's a limit now. Suddenly the schools have a big problem because without unlimited federal loans, students can't cover sky-high tuition. Enrollment drops, revenue drops, and institutions are forced to face the reality that they've been avoiding. Their prices are unsustainable. And that is why caps exist, not to downgrade nursing, not to insult anyone's profession, but to finally put pressure on institutions that have had zero incentive to lower tuition as long as students can borrow unlimited debt. Let me say this even louder for you. Without unlimited borrowing, schools must address affordability. Not maybe, not if they feel like it, they have to. Because students can't borrow $150,000 anymore, so schools can't charge $150,000 anymore, period. So stop getting mad at the wrong thing. Don't be mad that the government is limiting catastrophic debt. Be mad that institutions built their business models on students drowning in it. Be mad that when faced with the choice between affordable education and bloated tuition, they chose profit every single time. This new system is not punishing nurses. It's finally holding schools accountable. And if anything, it's the first real chance that we've had in years to push tuition back into reality. So let's focus, let's aim our outrage in the right direction. Let's demand that institutions charge what education is actually worth, not whatever students can borrow, because nurses are professionals. They always have been, and they always will be. The cost of becoming one, though, should not require a lifetime of debt. I hope that helps.
Now, to me, the first time that I heard that, it made perfect sense to me. I don't understand why this is such a hard concept to grasp, but then it hit me. It's a hard concept to grasp because they were never trying to grasp the concept. It was just about social media said, you need to be mad about this. Trump, the big bad man, we ain't got to do no reading or research. It got to be true. Whole time, when I went and read this, and after this is done, I'll put the documents, the link to the documents into the description. However, all you got to do is go to the Department of Education. They put out, all this came from their website. It even got a caveat at the bottom that say, we try our best to put everything out to the public to view. I suggest you do it. So when I looked it up, this is what came back. It's RISE, all right? Stands for Reimagining and Improving Student Education. All right, so their whole premise, bro, is what they try to do is cut down on the monopoly of how colleges are ran. So right now, anybody that has kids in college, you yourself have been to college within the last 30 years, the numbers are crazy. All right. And there's no account, like the numbers in tuition are crazy, which you will pay for degrees, and it's not capped. Like there's no way you should be able to go to school, get to $100,000 in debt in one of these major schools to get you a liberal arts degree or any degree where there's not a proven track record for you to be able to get a return on your investment. But what's going on right now is pretty crazy. So this committee been meeting up, discussing ways to have some accountability for the schools, because right now they've been banking on the fact that they can get these federal loans, the government-backed loans for education at no cap, and these schools didn't make the quality better of education. They made the price go up. Not to say that some of these schools ain't invest no real money, because clearly that would be a lie. However, what they're making and their business model is solely dependent upon the government, bro. So it makes sense for them to want to see what's going on with their money, right? So as part of that, they had these different degrees. The different these were financial terms that they're using to describe. Not saying that if your degree is not a part of this list, it's not professional. So you had your professional and your graduate student. All right. So your professional student was basically something that needed to come with some type of a certification at the end. All right. So doctors, lawyers, pharmacology, all those things. And So the graduate degrees are ones that you go advance of that, right? So a lot of nurse practitioners, this is how this whole conversation got brought up, which is your secondary level, all right, which can be backed by loans. But what the research was saying is that even these loans, they was being even more egregious with the way that these federal backed loans was being distributed, bro. So it ain't like this was being done fairly. It's the whole marketing. It's like the American dream with the house, the same way we know the housing rates have went through the roof, all because of imaginary influences that changed the market. And colleges had the biggest market because they could sell you a dream, tell you no money out of pocket. You really got people who believe they was going to school for free. You know what I'm saying? It's predatory in the way the loans have been being made. And this committee, from what they put out, is trying to stop that. Who knows how it'll play out, but this is what they put on paper. Okay, so there's different categories based on the type of degree, whether it has a licensure at the end or not. And if there's graduate level degrees, these are the different classifications in the money system, not because of what degree you chose. They track this for the monetary system. All right, so just so we understood on that. So this is where that whole discourse came back and forth. So in the last 30 years, bro, I went and did the numbers, and it was astonishing, bro. Basically 50, 60 to 80% jump in tuition over 30 years for the same exact degree. Okay. And what I found out, what was crazy is the federal loans weren't always the ones with the best rates. They just had more security if something bad was to happen. They had more insurance, basically, versus the private loans had better rates, but they don't care nothing about having a layoff or nothing. They want their money, just like any other loan, right? But the rates tend to be better on the private side. So it's literally the government has been enabling these colleges, these public institutions that are funded by the people's money to overcharge the people. Don't that sound familiar? And instead of us being all in on this and be like, yeah, they need to, because I don't care what your political affiliation is. I'm sure we would all agree that college tuition is way too high now, bro. I mean, it just is what it is. It is no reason for it to be that high when it's federally backed. It's coming from the people. But that's a whole other story. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it in the chat. But this is what's been happening over the past 30 years, and it's still trending up. All right. Meanwhile, those degrees aren't holding the same value if you're not going to get these professional degrees, they call them, right? And a lot of people get caught in these traps. It's a major business decision when you're 18 and you want to go to school to have fun, but you're going to Duke University. Yeah. So your fun costs a pretty penny. So if you don't have a real plan for that you're going to have to account for that money one way or another. And everybody don't come from means to where somebody can pay $100,000 out of pocket for you to get this degree. All right. So this is what I was following the trend. So to me, whole time, this department looked worthwhile to me because it seemed like they owned something. So I'm gonna play you this other video. This is them breaking it down back in like September. Part of this committee, they've been having talk. I want you to hear from them what they say, and then y'all tell me what y'all think. Hold on.
Thank you, Chairman, very much for yielding and especially for holding this hearing. And to Chairman Wahlberg, this is an incredibly important question to virtually every family in the United States. The first question is, what do you want to do when you grow up? Which turns into, whether it's 9th, 10th, 11th grade, are you going to college? With the assumption is, that's the first and best and only answer in so many ways. Do you want to go to college? Well, the fact of the matter is, for every parent having that discussion with their child is, do you want to go to college? Do you want to serve your nation and go into the military? Or do you want to go to a trade school? Because at the end of the day, whether it's college, military, it's what is your career? What is going to be your job? Student loans, I say it all the time, is one of the greatest things we ever have done and one of the worst things we've ever done. Because for parents who care so much about their children, they want to do what's right by them. To pay $80,000 to go to college for 1 year. First of all, let's back up. We talk about, like, every child knows, I want to go to college, and this is what I want to do. I would love to see the statistics of asking that child what job or career that they're going for and where do they end up. If we hit 50-50, I would be surprised. And this is, the reason I'm bringing this up is having that discussion with the parents and the child of what the true costs are is incredibly important. Nobody's mentioned community college. Is this what I want to do? Because that is the most affordable, accessible for any child. And then move into a 4-year and go on. But the idea that so often they want to chase that picture that they see, it's a great sports team, and listen, we just came off a great weekend of watching sports for college football. And how many children pick those schools simply because of the academic program or the sports programs? So true cost is such a relevant issue. Earlier in your testimony, you talked about the net cost. When you just talked about the funding for higher education, you said it went up. Of course it does. Everybody raises it. But what is the true cost against inflation? That would absolutely change it. So A, having the right information, calling it the right thing, that terminology is so important. We can do this, and I am very much focused on that. The terminology and the basic costs for college. You talked about repeatedly. You can buy the Chevy or you can buy the Cadillac. And we need to address those issues to go through the school. And the idea of saying there should be a cost guarantee, if it's 2-year college, your cost there. So we're having a great discussion for something that ends up being the biggest decision in many people's life, other than getting married and having children. This is so important that we consider what takes place at the time of these decisions, because it impacts the parents who might have to help the child, and it certainly is going to impact that child making that decision. So, transparency. Ms. Layden, talk to me about when this child and this parent are making a decision, what goes into making that decision that impacts? Are they actually looking like, gee, to
Hey, make sure y'all listen to this part carefully.
go there, it's going to cost me $500,000 to send you there for something that you may or may not do. When we're talking about transparency and the terminology, also the decision-making, what goes into that in the studies that you've been a part of? How do the parents and child actually make that decision?
Ideally, they should be making that decision with really good information and really good, complete, and honest data. And right now, they're not. And just to be a little bit crude about it, it's garbage in, garbage out in terms of if you have really misleading information that is on these financial aid offers. In our research, we have found, in addition to some of the issues that I mentioned at the top, there are colleges that will list loans, like Parent Plus loans, and put them as if they are gifts, as if they are awards that they do not have to pay back. One of my favorite and horrible examples is there's a college, there was a letter that at the very bottom of it, it had all of the grants and loans and things, and at the very bottom of it, it said your out-of-pocket cost is $0, which is amazing. That's great. I don't have to pay anything to go to college. But in that letter, Parent Plus loans of $27,000 were listed. Student loans were listed, but they were like P+. Who knows what P+ is? Do you know what you know what P+ is. Everybody in this committee knows what P+ is, but most people don't know what that is. And that's because the information is, I will disagree with my colleague Justin here a little bit about whether or not it's intentionally deceptive. I think for some colleges it's not, and I think for some colleges it is, because this tool is both helping students try to understand the cost of college, but it's a marketing tool for schools to recruit students.
I yield back.
So tell me how you can hear this, go read the documents and see what their whole purpose is. And whether you agree with the way in which they're going about it, which I haven't seen them personally, that sound crazy, but the purpose of what they're doing make a complete sense to me. Somebody in the chat mentioned it about the laws, contracts and that, we talk about that, but it's too complex for most people to understand. But by default, the whole system of what they're doing is definitely predatory. There's no doubt about it, especially knowing what we know about the American system. But speaking of which, we always got to make it correlate, right? Talk about how the news and the politics and everything still affect us. Is why we need to be paying attention to all of it, right? So check this out. Let me get my screen right. All right, so this is how the history of these federal loans. In 58, they was created for the Cold War. Science and defense only. Y'all remember they was talking about the whole space thing. Who could get to space first? So this is why they wanted to educate Americans, all right, to get them prepared to compete against these other nations. So then 1965, boy, it was going down in them 60s, especially with the education. So the Higher Education Act. So this expansion to all students, this is when the American dream of education is starting to get sold to everybody. Before it was just, you had to be an elite person to be able to get higher education, right? But then now 1965, they finna make it for everybody. Okay, so 1990s, they made it, it got, the lending became even easier. Credit they wasn't tripping, knowing that you can't afford to pay this back, but hey, we'll finance it because it's the government giving you the money. It's not the school having to give it to you. All right, so then 2006, I think this Bush, now they come with unlimited borrowing. Hold on. Unlimited borrowing. And this is when it started going through the roof for some of these graduate degrees. Okay, so now here come 2025. And you got Trump now, the big bad boogeyman under his administration. These people say they looking into the basic. They saying they trying to be nice about it because these are major institutions. But what they're alleging is fraud and deceptive marketing practice. It's a lot of bad things that could be used, but it's the truth. All right. So now, like I say, this is why all of this matters. You got to be in tune to what's going on in your cities, your neighborhood, because where they coming for the people of this land who know the truth. And there's several ways to do that. And we ain't really even in the game and informed properly. We let a little social media posts take us off our pivot. But, that's why we do what we do, bro. We try to break it down, make it common for the people because we care about the people. Before I'm coming on here, I just was trying to watch that boy Shador, see what he look like, supporting the people. But, hey, we got a big show for y'all, so we're going to go ahead and get to the Gullah Mass Choir, bro. Got a little 1-2 from them. We're going to come back. We already got Mac. We got 9 either. We're finna get to this bill because this is going to be a very important one, and I'm sure y'all going to enjoy it. So we're going to take it to the Gullah Mass Choir. When we come back, we're going to get to the bill. We're going to start talking about Oliver Cromwell and them Black Jews, man. We'll be back in a second. Peace.
Left the truth behind the door. Raised the price on every classroom. Made the rich look like they poor. But we kept digging through the silence. Kept our mind above the game. Cause when you know what they've been hiding, you don't walk out the same. Ruin the nation, but knowledge gon' bring restoration. They try to sell dreams like salvation, but truth is our elevation. Education, misdirection, we break the spell with information. Yeah, we rise with education. Loans got bigger than the future. Tuition heavier than hope. Told us college was the answer. Didn't teach us how to cope. Oh, but we ain't salvation, elevation, restoration. We break the spell with information. Yeah, we rise with education, rise with education.
They wrote the rules to keep us chasing,
but we see through the imitation.
They changed the price, but not the mission. We stay grounded in conviction, open eyes. Knowledge is the key to our lives.
Teach the babies where we came from. Teach the elders what we learned. Fix the history they broke up. Give the truth its right to burn. Every vote a revelation. Every class another light. If we wanna build the future, we gon' have to read and find. Ruin the nation. Knowledge gon' bring restoration. Try to sell dreams like salvation. With education. Education ruined the nation, but we still learning, yeah, still learning.
Truth don't die, it just waits. And generations hear its echo underneath the things they change.
Way before they painted pictures white, the story traveled overseas in light. Exiles running from the Inquisition's fire, carrying covenant and ancient choir. Moorish shades in the Amsterdam rain. Brown-skinned rabbis with Iberian names. Menasseh opened up the book again. Said the tribes were living on American plains. Well,
copper sons, tawny daughters, walked this land before the borders. Everybody knew the signs. Everybody felt the line.
Hidden Hebrew in the land. We were written in the sand. From the islands to the Carolinas, same blood, same fire, same promise inside us. If they cover up the truth, still the truth gon' rise again. Hidden Hebrew in the land, you can hear it in the wind. Cromwell reading hope of Israel, saw the prophets in the stories we tell. Said the nations on this copper ground look like Spain's Jews when the sun went down. Puritan eyes saw a mirror too. Old Testament ways in the native crew. Drums like songs, smoke like prayer. Memories speaking through the sun-kissed air.
We ain't new to this land.
We've been here from the start.
We ain't strangers to the Lord. Heaven branded on the heart.
Hidden Hebrew in the land. We were written in the sand. From the islands to the Carolinas, same blood, same fire, same promise inside us. If they cover up the truth, still the truth gon' rise again.
Hidden Hebrew in the land.
Yeah,
you can hear it in the wind.
Carolina line, so Sephardic seas met the maroon tribes, mixed the prayers with the river tides. Color tongues with that G-Ula flame. Still the same people, though they changed our name. From Suriname heat to the low country sand. That Hebrew root kept holding the land. Oh.
They try to bury what we carry, try to hide it in the maps. But the drums remember stories that the textbooks won't unwrap.
Lift your voice, let the truth run free. We the ones they said we couldn't be. Every exile finds their shore. We've been home forever and Hebrew in the land. We were written in the sand. From the islands to the Carolinas. Same blood, same fire, same promise inside us. Truth don't break and truth don't bend. Spirit knows its way back in.
Hidden Hebrew in the land.
Let the choir say amen.
Hey, if that can't get you ready to learn, I don't know, I don't know what to do for you, bro. I don't know what to do. We doing what we can. Sunday service, this is how we do our sauce over here. Everybody not the same. It's different strokes for different folk, but we appreciate y'all for tapping in. We're going to get to it, man. Appreciate all the love. We see y'all done pulled up. Go ahead, hit the like button. Share this out to your people. Let them know we about to do what we do. Appreciate all the love. We didn't hit 7,000 subscribers. Boy, that's real love that y'all been showing us. Appreciate that, man. It's been a long journey to get here, but let's get to the bill, man. I'm trying to wait. Matt, y'all put your camera on. Let me know when you're ready. I ain't trying to catch y'all out guard. Okay, Matt look like he ready, so we finna get to it. Yeah, that hidden Hebrew. Hey, yeah, bro.
Tap in.
You went crazy.
Tap in. Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. Come on.
They better get on it, bro. The Gullah Man's quiet, bro.
Woo! Let me stop. What's going on with you, though? What's going on?
What's up, bro?
Homeboy with the news, man. Hey, listen, every time you come with something new on a recent situation, I got to say, I even learn details of things that, you do that for the party. And that's why I like, we got to get the recent things always in play because we got to keep it, even though we do builds but we ain't going to ever front as a party. We got to pay attention to what's going on currently. And that's why I'm glad you cover these different things in individual Sundays of what people need to be highlighted about. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm surprised though. And I didn't even do this right. See, look, I was so hyped with the Gullah shit. See?
Yeah.
It's your boy Mac Aether. You know what I'm saying? What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Piece of the party. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That's what it is. Shout out to my American Maroons outside. What they do? Gullah Esther Lusty. I'm a Cario. Yeah, we got some shit for y'all. You hear me? Like last week, our guest, you know what I'm saying? See, I'm gonna come back around to y'all thought I lost my thought. Last week we had Travis Sanders, and that's why this show, even though we were supposed to do something different, but we make provisions. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you said Travis. That was Travis.
Excuse me. I'm looking.
Man, y'all know Mac, man, with name, whatever will mess up some names, boy.
Yeah. Travis. You know what I'm saying? Handsome history.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to say handsome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't want to say Travis. Yeah. I tried to say Travis. So yeah, shout out to Travis though too. Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to him too.
Indigenous history. Shout out to him. Shout out to all my indigenous folk outside. You heard me? Native Black. You heard me? Man, listen, that Gullah Mass Choir got me in my feelings though. I ain't gonna front. I might need to, I don't know. Listen here. Listen.
It go crazy.
It go crazy, bro. It go crazy. They don't understand the production behind what the GMC do. You heard me? Like, hey, but again, it's your boy. We here. The harsh reality is, again, live life autonomously. Maranatha, you heard me? And yeah, let's get to it, man. It's 9 here because
I see him. I see him. 9, what's up? You on camera? What you looking like, bro? I'm trying to make sure you ready to bring you on.
Hey, no matter of fact, wait, one more thing.
Okay, go ahead.
So again, you said though earlier on the current news, I was surprised that you didn't do the thing that happened in the church with the little girl.
Oh yeah.
I thought you was gonna cover that. I ain't gonna front. I thought that was highlighted news, and we want people out there in the chat. Listen, when you see Homeboy with the news, do his cover of the recent things he highlight, put us some information in the chat after the fact. And when he do shorts for it and everything, you know what I'm saying, the production that get behind it, shout out to the party to pick out things, so we can pick out things too going into the next week or weeks coming. You know what I mean? What you think is going on that the nation or shout out to the party.
We need to know.
Need to know. You heard me on the recent shit. So I just wanted to make sure I plug that in. You heard me? So we don't want to miss nothing. If y'all see something we don't see, you heard me? Plug it in.
Share it. Yeah, we will dig into it. If you want us to personally go look into it, maybe it's something we sleep. It's too much going on for us to be on top of everything. It's not possible.
Hey, matter of fact, too, that's why I'm going to plug this in right now on Facebook. If you tap into us on Facebook, Maroonville on Facebook is actually open for that kind of thing. If you want to share something, we'll approve it. Then, just communicate. Just like you can email us, but we know people on social media. It makes it easy for people share stuff. And y'all share stuff all the time. So if you think it's something, highlight it, say something, because we see a lot of things. We approve stuff. Sometimes we don't approve stuff. But at the same time,
folk be crazy.
Yeah, but at the same time, I'm keeping it real with y'all with the party. You know what I mean? Peace to the party. You know what I mean? But yeah, I see. You know what it is tonight? Travis last week when he came on, y'all see what he said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, that picture that got it green, we was hit as in the studio. Right now, I got Baron P. Look, matter of fact, look, check it out. Shout out to Baron
P. What's up with you?
What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Last week when we was Kofi was with us, you know what I mean, got it green. He shared the Cromwell picture, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know. I need you to share that tonight again. Just make sure you know.
Find it real quick. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we want them to see the picture of who we talking about. You know what I mean? Hey, we were talking during the week after the fact, and I don't know if it was 9 here. We was how they dug him up, Cromwell, after he died, and what they did to him, bro. Listen here.
That was crazy, bro.
Listen here. Listen, they were mad at Cromwell. Boy.
You done did some things that they want to do to you.
But if they dig you back up, boy, they ain't do that to Joshua.
You feel me? Went crazy.
They didn't do that to the Joshua HaMashiach. You heard me? Like, they know what I'm saying? Like, God dang, bro, what they did to Cromwell was crazy work. But either way, you know what I'm saying? That's why we made it say we got to go ahead and give you a deep dive on this individual, because at his time period, it's like a lot of things happening, and it's other individuals we're gonna show you tonight too. I mean, it's a long little walk. You hear me? Yeah. You got it, so you know what it is. You know what I
mean? I see Ether. He almost ready, but we can go ahead and roll right into it. Which it's on you.
All right, hold on then.
All right.
I'm gonna pull up my. I gotta get my sources right. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
Show
I'm looking for that picture. Yeah, I'm looking for that picture now.
No pressure. No pressure.
So tell them the reason why you wanted to break this down, bro.
All right, because as we did the show, and Cromwell, I think, is a very good time period to understand who's coming into America, who's being deported, as we talked about, and we've been talking about, tied to European crowns and where they're coming from, where they're being deported from, where they're being exiled from different wars, and this is obviously past the time frame of the Inquisition. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
I think that we got to keep it real, that we got to cover this from a level of understanding the time period. You know what I mean? I'm going to probably cover about 20 years worth of time of things that are all impact, cause and effect, etc., tied to that time period. And this is a real person. So if anybody, they want to debate about him being black or white and all that kind of stuff, or even the individuals, there he is. You know what I'm saying? I think he a black man with soul glow. You heard me? You know what I'm saying?
You see, I tried to make the image of a dude that kind of looked like him. You feel me?
I see what you did though. Hey, as a matter of fact, too. Hold on, wait a second. You've been doing you obviously do what you do with the clip art when we do certain things. Somebody had the nerve to come on and talk about the thumbnail and all the information that was going on. Like I think that's disrespectful. I want to tell that person that's crazy work. That's what you came, and the only thing you had to say was something about the thumbnail. Like, come on.
Well, it'd be like, you never go please everybody. Like, you can go out and drop 50 points, and they'd be like, bro, you should have dropped 60.
God damn. I can speak Sufi the Goofies, though. Hey, I can speak Sufi the Goofies, but it might not make no sense.
Hey, it is what it is, bro.
But that's that was for him, by the way, if he watching, just in case. Either way, because thumbnails, I hope he don't come back this week with another film. Anyways, I say this, though. Y'all see Cromwell right there, though? Yeah, all right, y'all see him. All right, now. So just make sure y'all have the image in your head, because we brought him up last week. And I'm going to get to this. I got my notes, so. You ready?
Yeah, we got 9 either too.
All right, pull them up.
I bet. Peace.
Nah. What they do?
Oh, we can't hear you.
Yeah. If you hear us, I can't.
Hold on. He muted though.
No pressure.
Yeah, that's what it is. He gonna get right. My boy say, bring it out.
Oh, look, hey, that's the house St. Nicholas. Shout out my homeboy right there, though.
Yeah, peace.
Hey, you gotta holler at us, Nicholas, here. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to have a conversation soon. You know what I mean? Shout out to you and what you do. You know what I'm saying? We just back outside, that's all. You hear me? Tap in.
Oh, he had to reset. Either have to reset. Let's go and get to it.
All right, so boom. Black Jews in the Netherlands. That's right. So as we get down to understand in 1492. So in 1492, what people got to understand, I want y'all to see it so you can read it. You know what I'm saying? Understand where we at on the timeline of what I walked through. You heard me? Now, in 1492, we know there's an Inquisition. All right. Obviously, you got the Papal Bulls. All right. Obviously, popular terms, into the Catera, Dum Diverses. You know what I'm saying? Certain treaties that are tied to Spain and Portugal, or what we call Castile and Aragon, who become known as Spain, tied to treaties in this time frame. Because I'm only giving you this time frame so we can walk it up so everything consistent. You heard me? I want to make sure you know everything consistent on the timeline. Chronologically, is consistent. 1492, right? Now, when we look at what's being described by the people who's being persecuted by the crowns, people say European crowns. These are European crowns. These are coming from European crowns, describing the people that are persecuted. And that's all I'm pointing out. So it's not my belief, it's not my thought process. Right. This is their documents. You know what I'm talking about? So understand key thing too. See that Dutch right there? See Dutch? Because the Dutch come in and take over the Portuguese territory. And that word Luso, if you ain't know, I want to make sure you see the first line, 1492, Sephardic. Sephardic going to be tied to Iberia. That's going to be tied to what we call Spain, Portugal, Aragon, certain parts of France. You know what I'm talking about? We're going to understand now, like the Dutch, though, because the Dutch, if you understand where the Dutch are located, Netherlands, see, they north. They actually north. When you go look on a map where they located, they're not in Southern Europe, right? The people we know is Dutch, or the Dutch East India Company, or West India Company, trading-wise. They're not coming out of this same region. I want to make sure you see that. But what they're showing you is that the Dutch come into American territories that the Portuguese and what we call Spain had. You know what I'm saying? Based off their trading efforts. That's why I want to make sure I give that to you. And you have to do your research on that. You know what I mean? I'm just giving you the timeline so we can get to Cromwell. You heard me? Now, Amsterdam, you know what I mean? And, Amsterdam, it's known for is a hub. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a hub today for people that, red light district type activity. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know. Amsterdam. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. But margaritas and reefer. You know what I'm saying? But on the flip side, in history, it was a hub for after the Inquisition for people we would call, today Jews with the J, right? Wink, wink. I like to say Yahudim, you know what I'm saying? And who were affected by being in this region that's tied to the term Sephard, which is going to be tied to Iberia Peninsula, Southern Europe, right? Now, boom, we're going to walk up. Now, Brazil, because the Dutch before obviously Brazil became tied to the Dutch, who had it first? The Portuguese. You know what I'm talking about? Negro de Terra. You're talking about? Yeah, that's the Portuguese using that term the same way the Portuguese claimed, based off of treaties, 1494. There's a quick little relapse now. I'm trying to make sure I give it to you this way. Of the treaty that Spain and Portugal did to divide the world. And why Portugal claimed West Africa and they only claimed Portugal. But then later on, the Dutch come in and take over places that the Portuguese had influence at, or the trading people had influence at. Is y'all following me? Is everybody following me? Make sure. Now, all right, so Curacao, Suriname, these are the islands, in the same area region. You hear me? You see that term, Negro Judeos. These are terms you go research that are being used in this time frame. Afro-Sephardim, look at that. It's a Sephardim with an afro. And these networks obviously is tied to, a lot more things that develop, as you see, maroon groups of people in Suriname, Gullah, you hear me? Brazil, all the islands of the Caribbean, technically, that become tied to this history, tied to the Caribbean timeframes of any of these European powers being in these areas, and those who are revolting against the crowns based on what they're doing with the indigenous people who obviously are revolting. That's where that word maroon, shout out to my maroons outside, you heard me? Yeah. At the same time, though, because we don't divide and conquer, you know what I mean? Ashad, you heard me? Yahudim. Yeah, you see it. I see you down there. At the same time, though, in this situation, in that, we can move to the next clip. Because see, I don't want to move past, but you got people on the screen for now. I don't want people to get, I had to make sure I gave you that backdrop. Is that pretty good? We can keep it moving. Now it ain't ready yet. When I get on the road.
He's shifting. He getting himself together.
All right.
Hold on. I'm finna try you now. Let's see what's up. Hold on. Peace.
Honor, you can hear me?
Yeah, you
what
good.
They do?
Yeah, yo, I cracked my phone.
Oh, yeah, you tripping.
Yeah, my phone is cracked. I was trying to put the screen on the other side. I was trying to do some other shit. You know how you get the back on the screen.
Hey, when you get the old niggas on
yo, they trying to stop me. I got beef with Cromwell. I had beef with Cromwell. Like, yo, bro, you trying to stop me?
Yeah. Hey, we don't get you.
Hey, you tripping. Let me catch myself. Hey,
Yeah.
That was a clip.
Yeah. Honor, and blessings to the brothers.
Yeah, you right on time, bro. We finna cook.
It's beautiful to see y'all, the Black Jews in Netherlands.
Yeah.
I want to give a shout out to the chat, everybody there, Autonomous Party and otherwise, everybody grouped up, researchers, whether you're here to detract or add to the vibration, all information is acceptable until we disprove it.
I like that. Hey, that was
straight up and down.
Yeah.
You feel me?
That's real talk. That's autonomous right there. You heard me? Shout out to the party. Hey, so what I was saying, though, is I really want to get to, because right there, that was just really the Netherlands, and the fact that people got to understand there's a backdrop to the fact that Netherlands was just tied to the Dutch. From 1492, people who got expelled out of Sephardic territories, which would be called the Southern European crowns, Castile, Aragon, Portugal, y'all know Spain, right? Certain parts of France, right? These people went into northern territories, you hear me? And obviously, they were in the Netherlands. You see what I'm saying? Now, you would think, and some people may think, that these people went there or brought there by some white, Germanic, Anglo-Saxon, or any ideal of what you think of Caucasian people. You know what I'm talking about? But no, these people already have a presence in this area prior to certain things taking place in 1492. Y'all see on this screen right here. See what I'm saying? And that's where Cromwell come into play. And that's why this backdrop needs to be laid out first. You know what I'm saying? Because 200 years prior to that, matter of fact, shout out to God of Green, the battle that took place actually 20 years exactly after 1492 will be 1292. And it's a battle dealing with the Straits of Gibraltar. You know what I'm saying? Now, but I'm going to go 2 years earlier. I'm going to hit y'all with 1290 because everybody can go look up the marker on your own time. You know what I'm talking about? And see that King Edward I in 1290 expelled Jews out of England 200 years before any Roman Catholic situation expelled anybody out of what we call Southern Europe, Iberia, Sephard. You heard me? So England in 1290, King Edward I. You know what I'm talking about? But prior to that, shout out to Miss Angela. She brought up Lionheart, Richard. You know what I'm saying? Richard Lionheart. You know what I'm talking about? There was a massacre going on in England tied to that crown time frame of Jews being, you know, and we ain't talking about, and again, I ain't talking about no Germanic or no, you know, anybody else, but these people that have tied to a heritage of exile that we've been telling y'all about Rome. See what I'm saying? Rome. Rome's going to be the referee, not me. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I'm on a fast break though, and he ain't called no foul. Let's ride. So at the end of the day, all that's laid out. Any Nine, you want to say anything before I keep sliding? Anything you want to say? Let me know.
Hold on.
My fault. I was on.
There you go.
Yeah. I would just add that the Abbey of Scotland is the origin of the Masonic Temple in the 1200s, prior to anything. And this is the you would call it the Lodge of Kilwinning Lodge. The Kilwinning Lodge, that abbey was built in the 1200s during William the Conqueror, during this push of this Inquisition or Reconquest, the Reconquest, and Yaya and El Negro and the Portuguese. This is the origin of the Scottish Rite. For people that don't know, when you look into that lodge, you will see that that is the mother lodge of the Scottish Lodge. That's all I would add. But those are Templars, those are crypto Jews under the Catholic monarch, and they're doing their thing.
Okay.
All right, so Bet Money. I want to add this to it too. Dutch Brazil, between 1630 and 1654, documented Negro Judeos and mulatto Judeos, showing the presence of Black Jews in Dutch-controlled regions. Dutch Caribbean territories, Curacao. I said Curacao. Look at me. Curacao. Sorry to the island for pronouncing, margaritas and reef every time. That's what it happens. And Suriname, which is also here, right? Suriname's on there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And obviously contained large Afro is the term again. You see down there as a clip. Sephardic groups of people that are obviously tied to Cape Verde. Yeah, you know where Cape Verde is, right? That's off the west coast of Africa, right?
Yeah.
St. Tom, that's off the west coast of Africa, right? Angola. Oh,
yeah.
That's what I was supposed to be doing tonight, y'all. I was supposed to go in on Angola. You know what I'm talking about? Gullah. I was going to go in because, see, I'm going to wait, though, to give you this backdrop first because it's going to all make sense when we done with this one right here. Hopefully, Sufi the Goofies might not catch it, but yeah, if y'all been paying attention and showing, you know what I mean, what we've been laying out since we came back, you'll see that the timeline going to show you something. And, we're going to ask you just to go do your research and show us we wrong type shit. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's what we're doing tonight. So on this level of it, I want to make sure you understand these, because these are, Dutch would be considered a European territory, right?
Yeah.
Okay, make sure. Anybody heard about that black Dutch pot?
Yeah.
Y'all be cooking that stew in? You know what I'm talking about? On that fire, it's a black Dutch pot, ain't it? You ever seen a pale Dutch pot?
Not me.
I only heard of black Dutch pots. But either way, we're going to keep sliding, right? So now, go to the next clip, though. Because I think I'm ready now. Menasseh, yep, you right on time. So now, I'm getting to Menasseh for a reason for y'all, because he got to be highlighted dealing with Cromwell. See, before we get to Cromwell on certain things, I want you to know major players dealing with Cromwell. You know, matter of fact, and Monte, I slipped, and I meant to send this to you too, because I don't want nobody thinking that I'm capping. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm going to send it right now, and we're going to slide it on it real quick, and we're going to come right back to this screen. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, here we go. I forgot. You know what I'm talking about? And I apologize. You know what I'm talking about? But look, As he pulls this up and he works that out, I'm going to read this to y'all, making sure you understand who this person is, right? So Menasseh ben Israel is tied to Dutch. See what I'm saying? And he's coming out of tied to the Netherlands. And he's also tied to what we'll call Sephardic rabbi, meaning Jew. You know what I'm talking about? As I would like to use the term. And Amsterdam, right? I brought up Amsterdam. We talked about it. You know what I'm saying? We showed you the backdrop. 1492, people fleeing after the exile Inquisition to different regions. Yes, some of them went to places like the St. Tom and Angola and Cape Verde and the Congo. You know what I'm talking about? But some of them also went north into Scotland, Ireland, and obviously Netherlands, Amsterdam. You heard me? So, and they were in those areas and developing what they've been doing in those areas. I'm giving y'all a quick little synopsis here now. And the situation going from that time frame, 1492, and what's going on with the crowns in this region. You heard me? From Northern Europe areas, not England. See, don't get caught up. You think England got control, because we know England don't got control of these other regions until what time frame? King James VI, the first of England. You know what I'm talking about? We done told you back in 1290. You know what I'm saying? That King Edward I, 1290. He is tied to England. He's expelling them out of England. We don't control all of what we call today Europe at that time. It doesn't get united until the 1600s. You see what I'm saying? So there's people in these regions doing their thistle. You keep it like that. So now here's the source, right? Menasseh ben Israel. I want to make sure you see it so you won't think that it's because the man wrote a book. Before I go in on any of his books and the narratives and saying Israelites and the Puritans and all the other stuff that's going to come up in this bill, I want you to see the lawful part that this man did. You know what I'm talking about? I want that foundation to be laid out first. Now, I need to, what you think about this? Monte, before I, take a little breath and get a little sip or something.
Nah, keep cooking, you on point. All I would add is that Menasseh ben Israel's extended family had control of ports, banking, newspaper, media, printing presses, sugar trade. They were part of a consortium of Jewish bankers. That's all I would add at this present moment.
Monte, what do you think? You there?
Oh damn! Nah, my bad. I had muted my shit. Yeah, nah. So I'm you good. You crystal clear today.
Paranoid. See, I'm paranoid. Right?
And we got PTSD. I'm with you, bro. Keep walking.
All right, boom. So this petition, slide up. Let them see it. You know what I'm talking about? And throw it in the chat. Everybody that's live.
Yeah, I already did, because they ain't gonna be able to see it, but so good on this.
Yeah. Put it in your chat. You know what I'm saying? Screenshot. You know what I mean? And let the chat break it down for you. Talking about. You know what I mean? Shout out to Backwards Mind. He just hit me. He said something look like a replay. I don't know. But back, we live, man.
Yeah, we live.
All right, so boom. No. See, leave it up. Because this is all great content of the petition that they can go and research from archive, National Archives, right? I want you to see the petitional standpoint of Cromwell and this man called Menasseh ben Israel, a rabbi tied to Dutch, Amsterdam, with Sephardic background history. You know what I'm talking about? Heritage, lineage, claimage, etc. You know what I'm talking about? This is coming from him. I want to make sure you know it's not coming from me. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. So this document from National Archives is a petition to Oliver Cromwell. Because last week, what did we say about Oliver Cromwell? He was a leader of the Puritans, right?
Yeah.
All right. He's head
Lord
of the Parliament, right?
Yeah.
At this time, remember the time frame, the Jacobites. I heard somebody earlier in the chat. Excuse me for not remembering, but they said something about the Jacobites. And yes, you're correct. Oliver Cromwell is tied to the time frame of the Jacobites, Jacobite gleanings, the time frame of the records and the people that's coming and being deported and how they look, etc. That we've been calling Latin Europeans and all these terms. You know what I'm talking about? In these regions coming in this time frame tied to Cromwell. You know what I'm saying? Just the period, the era of what people being described certain things, and now they're, being, deported out of those regions into the 13 colonies. You know what I'm saying? So within this, a distinguished Amsterdam scholar who came to England Remember, who got expelled out of England in 1290? Jews.
Yeah.
All right. From Amsterdam in 1655 to petition Cromwell. To petition Cromwell to readmit Jews to the country and allow them to worship. Well, if you walk the timeline of when this is happening, King Edward I exiled them out of England in what time frame? 1290.
Yeah.
Now, who are the people consistently that's been in these regions and how they're being described is something maybe people want to ignore. You know what I'm talking about? How they're being described. You know what I'm talking about? How are they Germanic? Are they what's the lineage part, right? Not the religious part, but the lineage part, the descriptions. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. One of the signatories, Merchant Antonio Fernandez Carvajal. I'm out to butcher his name. You know what I'm talking about? I might have did Geechee while I ain't gonna front. But was the first Jew.
Yo, it's like a hall. It's like hall.
Carvajal.
That's how you say it,
yeah. You know how them J's is.
Yeah.
All right. I'm gonna let it slide like that. Hey, slide off me better like that, dude. Carvajal. You know what I'm talking about? Fernandez Carvajal. You heard me? Was the first Jew to be granted British citizenship by Cromwell. Remember who this person, all right? In 1655, originally from Portugal. See, I want you to understand now, Portugal is tied to the Inquisition, 1492, and them people that got exiled, you know what I'm saying, that might have went, oh, they ain't go all the way into West Africa. Oh, some of them ain't, you know what I'm talking about? But yeah, some of them up there. Yeah, they're showing you right here, right there. Now look, wait a second, extensive, wait. Look what they say, originally from Portugal. Carvajal, extensive.
Yeah.
West Indies trade. Where's West Indies at this time? That's America.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all don't understand, West Indies is the Americas. The Caribbean, South America, North America, from a standpoint of them tied to Portugal, Spain, Castile, and their treaties, what they call the West Indies. Indios. This is what they're talking about. So it says, served as grain contractor for parliamentary forces during the Civil War. What Civil War is happening in this time frame of 1655, y'all?
And them boys was having wars all through the 1600s over there in Europe.
Hold up, pause right there. That's called, it's the Portuguese-Spanish War. It's not called that. It's a 30-year war that's happening. That this is happening from 1630 to 1660. Forgot the name of the war. It'll come to me. That particular war was a war for restoration. Someone Google that. Portuguese War of Restoration. That's what it was. Boom. This is where you get all of these families not only hunkering down, because Portugal won that war. That's another thing that history won't tell you. Portuguese won that war. Well, they do tell you. They just don't, let it be popularly known.
Yeah, it ain't the narrative, the popular narrative.
Portuguese Jews that were just expelled by King Manuel 40 years earlier, or 30 years earlier, in 1496. In 1496, they get expelled 100 and something years earlier. They spent that 100 years in three empires: the Ottoman Empire as their bankers, the Roman Empire as legates and bankers, and the Dutch Amsterdam Netherland area as bankers. So they were in those three areas from 1496 up until this Portuguese War in the 1600s, that they're tired of being the little brother of the monarch Spain has become for this last 60 years, and they go popping. While they doing that situation, they're already merchant class of Amsterdam.
Y'all heard that clearly? Let me make sure y'all heard that though. Nah. You see all this going on though. Is you there? Make sure y'all crickets, you heard me. I don't want nobody.
Oh, no, you good. We hear you.
Or making
Now
sure
we hear you. Keep going.
Again, I told you I got PSD from last week. I'm trying to make sure we good. You know what I'm talking about? Because I don't want to lose nothing with this. I don't want to lose nothing with this. So in this situation, it's showing you that they're allowing these people in this time frame, 1656, allow Jews permission to meet privately in their houses for prayer and to lease a cemetery. This is in 1657, about 30 Sephardi families, including Carvajal, founded a synagogue in Church Lane, London. You know what I'm talking about? Now, you see the picture. I want y'all to see what they got there, how they describe and how they look now. Feel me? Now, we showed you how Cromwell look, right? In the picture we can get. I'm just showing you know the depictions because people get caught up in the pictures and shit. You heard me? Mm-hmm. But however the case, you know what I'm saying? What this man, if you want to take him for a pale skinned person, Spanish looking person, because he is from the Iberia, Spain area, right? However the case, what he describes, that's why I had to bring him up first. And what he petitioned, right? This is a petition that to Cromwell, we showed you how Cromwell looked. Right, you know what I'm saying, and how they're dealing with these people being called Jews and being called black. You know what I'm saying? Is y'all catching that? Everybody?
Yeah. So let me ask. So a lot of people, I think they get caught when they hear this information, especially when we start talking about Black Europeans, right? They get in. It's a lot of ill feelings behind that. So I just want to clear something up for everybody. No matter what the depictions say, like any illustrations like this one right here, it's plausible for you to say whatever their phenotype is. But what we're trying to tell you is we know for a fact that it was way more of the phenotype that they say look like all three of us right here that was in Europe than what we've ever been taught. So you have to question everything to know, okay, you can't just say just because somebody was in Europe during the time frame that they had to be white, because that's just nowhere near the truth. Based on what the sources say, you feel me? So I just want to make sure they understand.
So with that, we have to pause. We really have to pause 1 second and pull up page 1 of that PDF so we can show them who the Portuguese Jews are in 1650 at this particular time frame when Mission Maximilian is actually basically doing his thing. So. This is Mission Maximilius. This individual is Mission Maximilius.
Go ahead, now. Tap in. Go ahead.
Mission Maximilius is a French / Huguenot / Protestant / whatever. He is a journeyman that is caught up in the Edict of Nantes at his time in France and has to leave. As he's leaving, he's painting a picture of the safe haven of those that are all caught up in the Edict of Nantes.
Oh, but you good? My fault.
You can hear me?
Nah, that's Matt. You hot, bro. Go ahead now.
My bad now. Go ahead.
Okay, so I thought you said you couldn't hear me. So they caught up in the Edict of Nantes, the author of this book. The book is, I don't like looking at your screen. Let me look at my screen.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, I'm doing my thing.
No, you good. I'm wilding. The book is called A New Voyage to Italy. It was compiled in his travels in 1670, 1675, and 1680. And his father was also the same traveler, so he also had like historical notes. Now, while he's making his travels, he is painting a picture of the safe havens of the hot spots of people like Jews, Huguenots, those that are being persecuted at this particular time in the 1600s. So Mission is basically through this book, which is a good read that is on archive.org, and y'all can get it and read the book. Through the book, he paints the picture of the complexion, because it's a complexion system and not a race theory at this time. Yeah. There's no race theory into the late 1700s. At this time, it's a complexion-based system theory. So now we're going to go into his work. This is on page 139, and I'm going to read this whole thing because this is painting a picture of how they see the Jews in 1660 from Italy to wherever. Now, he's going from France to Italy, and he stops in multiple places. So he says, the author of La Roma Santa affirms that the Jews stink. and that their smell vanishes after they're baptized. Kappa, Maraviglio, whatever. This is the actual, this is an Italian priest that wrote the La Roma Santa that he's referring to.
Yeah.
And you can hear me?
Yeah, I got the book right here. I'm about to put it in the chat for him. Okay. What page you say you was on?
I'm on page 139.
139. Oh, my bad. I was there. It's on the right side. I see it. Yeah. All right. Yeah, rock out. You got it.
Okay. So now the author that writing that the Jews think, he's the Italian author and writing from the Rome perspective. Remember, the Jew is always outside of both Rome and the Church of England at this time. They're hiding under both of them, no matter who. And both of these churches is fighting. The Church of England versus Rome. So it's a whole fight at this particular time. So he says they smell, and the smell goes away after they're baptized. I want to skip down to where he's talking about the Portuguese.
Yeah.
He says, this is a vulgar error that all Jews are black. For this is only true amongst the Portuguese Jews, who marry amongst one another, beget children like themselves, and consequently the swarthiness of their complexion is entailed upon the whole race, even in the northern regions. But the Jews who are originally of Germany, those, for example, I have seen at Prague, and they are not a blacker than their countrymen. So the statement says that it's a vulgar error at this time to say all Jews are black, because at his time, the truth is out. It's already going on, but he already know that it's pockets all over, because he's going to tell that story through his two memoirs.
Yeah.
Of where the dark ones are, where the light ones are, where the fair, whatever. So he's painting that picture that all the Jews are black. And at this particular time, he's a French guy and he's using French. So when you get the French translation, which we'll show later in this live, in this PDF, when you get that translation, you see he used the word Nior, meaning black. So at this particular time, these Jews that are from Portugal are black, and their safe haven is Amsterdam. Go ahead, Mac.
So, fast break. I mean, y'all get the backdrop on what Nine just gave you here. I mean, that was like a clip, you know what I'm saying? Because this is coming from that time frame and dealing with the people that they're observing in these areas, and it is tied to this term.
You got to be contemporary, right? You got to be contemporary, right?
Yeah, this is before race theory, right?
Yeah. Yep.
There's nobody being classified as race yet. You know what I'm saying? Let's get that right yet. You know what I mean?
Hey, check this comment out right here. This is where the identity theft started.
Oh, okay, yeah, the original, yeah. There's a lot of shit happening, you know what I'm saying? Because there's no race theory yet. Understand the timeline. We was talking about with Travis, Handsome History last week, Anglo-Saxon. They're not even being called Caucasian yet. There's no race theory yet. There's no categories that people debate about today yet with this history of documents that they have tied to European crowns. I want to be critical thinking with y'all before I read anything else. Because what he just broke down need to be thought about. Let it marinate.
Mm-hmm.
Let it marinate. Because Rome a referee. Rome told you and described different groups of people that their empire had contact with. You know what I'm talking about? So again, we get back to Menasseh, see, and we get back to my notes. You know what I mean? Again, shout out to everybody that's live with us, tapped in. We'll get back to these notes here real quick though. We're gonna walk up the timeline now. So we gave you the backdrop, and now I gave you that backdrop. We back to this petition. We showed you the petition. Now we dealing with this guy right here. He wrote a book. If y'all don't know about the book, you know what I'm saying? It's called The Hope of Israel. Because the petition that's tied between Menasseh ben Israel and Cromwell, Oliver Cromwell, at this time is him being a Puritan, leader. You know what I'm saying? They're literally setting up shop to like say, hey, We're gonna let these people come. Yep, show it to them. I want to make sure they see everything. Because these are the sources. You know what I'm talking about? These are the documentations. You know what I'm saying? This is not like, oh, I'm just saying it. I don't want y'all to think that at all.
I hate how what they did the view on this one. You know,
yeah, but hey, it's what it is, though.
Okay, I got a better one right here. But yeah, they can see there's some ancient shit, bro. I'm gonna put it in the chat. Hold on. Okay, so hey, pause that real quick. Shout out to Miss Sherry. Hey, so the Patreon, right? Building, so we got a real deal infrastructure we building with our library to make all the sources easier to find. So that's part of what we do in the Patreon. Everything, we ain't been hiding the information, bro. We ain't create these documents. We just research it, putting the pieces together. But makes it a lot easier when you know the look, especially when you newer to the information. All right, so just want to tag that. You interested in the Patreon? It's in the comments of this video. Tap in with us. Go ahead, man.
For sure. Maroonville. You heard me? Yeah. At the same time, within that, the Hope of Israel book that he wrote, this is in the same time frame of the petition. The book is tied to the petition, see? Because what he's documenting in America is saying that it's tied to, Cromwell, Puritans, and even the Puritans, who are also Anglo-Saxon Puritans, right? That are coming in America and making statements about the indigenous groups of people being the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Pause. Y'all catch that?
Yeah. I think it took a long pause for real.
Nah, for real though. This is when a lot of things gotta get sticky. You heard me?
Yeah.
So it's murky. It's muddy water. You heard me? Like it's, you know what I'm saying? It's bracket. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So at this point, you really gotta, wade through this water carefully. You understand the timeline of what's happening in North America, because this man is petitioning that the Jews be let back into England based off of a religious ideal of England being considered New Israel, and from the Puritan standpoint, Cromwell's time frame, and how the indigenous people, along with these other people, such as the Sephardic Jews, West African Jews, etc., being in America, that they need to, that the restoration, I'm talking about, the restoration, the coming, the new coming, I'm talking about, is going to happen if we restore these people by letting them back into England. And remember, he ain't do it on paper. He ain't do it on paper. Now look though, I'm gonna slide. I want y'all to see it though. I want to make sure I ain't tripping.
You good with this? I'm gonna show it to him better because I got it blown up. I ain't tripping now. But you done with it though?
I'm narrating. You hear me now? Hold on. All right, so boom, this guy right here. I'm gonna give you a little backdrop real quick. I'm gonna say, make sure you get it now. Go do your research and tell me if I'm tripping. You know what I'm saying? Menasseh ben Israel, 1604 to 1657, was a Sephardic rabbi from Amsterdam. I know I said it. I'm gonna make sure I say it again. Born to Marrano parents. You know what I'm talking about? In Portugal. Now, this is the man that's tied to this book in the petition to Cromwell. You know what I'm saying? Now, boom, too. His major claim, Yahudi, Jews, Yahudim, Jews were already in Americas. I want to make sure you understand what this Hope of Israel. I'm giving you a summary of the Hope of Israel. You know what I'm saying? And what he's died to in the petition and the book. I want to make sure you get this. In his 1650 work, The Hope of Israel, Menasseh argued that the indigenous peoples of Americas were descendants of the lost tribes of Israel. He cited reports from explorers and noted Hebrew-like customs, words, and priestly practices among copper-colored nations. Next thought. He used.
Yo, Mac.
Go ahead.
Who would be the foremost expert in that at that time? A Negro Jew, right?
Yeah.
He would be the foremost expert that is saying, okay, so he's a rabbi on this side of the world where this is the first 140 years of that side of the world.
Right.
And he's born into this, and he gets to see in his travels and what he does, yo, bro, their practices are this, which means they are remnants of those that came maybe in the 1200s, where you see them coming, or in the 700s with the Kalelus thing in Rome and Utah, Arizona, and Jews coming, or they're a remnant of what the Mormons say, King Josiah's son Mulek made it over here in their Bible. So they're letting you know that he's the foremost expert on those incursions into America that they say may have happened with St. Columbo in the 700s, you know what I'm saying? And Theodoric the Great, who some people did work on that shows that he was on both sides of this world. So I will add that Menasseh ben Israel is the foremost expert in Negro situations at this time, because he's a Portuguese Negro, descendant of those Negroes who all got that Negro. Remember, this municipality or Portugal, it has a name that's been attached to it for 600 years at this particular time. Negro. We have to understand, El
Negro. That's why you
the land of the Negroes. Lisbon is finally losing its power 600 years after setup. Watch the El Negro series. We can throw that in the playlist. We got a playlist on Autonomous Party right here. Yeah. Watch the El Negro series. Most of these people, we done traced this lineage, and we call it, how we call it? Protecting St. James Way all the way to America.
Yeah, that part. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, all right, alley-oop, Sean Kemp. You know what I'm talking about? Why Cromwell was convinced, Cromwell, you know what I'm talking about? Is because, I'm going to scoot back just a minute ago after he said all that to you. Make sure you understand what's happening here now. All right? The petition that we showed you in the book that Menasseh ben Israel, the rabbi, wrote, called The Hope of Israel. You know what I'm saying? He obviously, again, made the claim that they were already in the Americas. You see what I'm saying? So, in Menasseh's travel to London in 1655 and told Oliver Cromwell that the presence of Israelites in the Americas proved the global dispersion prophesied in Scripture. This contributed directly to Cromwell lifting the 1290 expulsion of Jews from England that goes back to King Edward I. Is you understanding what's happening?
Yep.
Is everybody catching that? So if the Jews who got expelled in 1290, wouldn't they be black just like the people they talking about, but Menasseh and all that, in the time frame going into the 1492, and then the time frame going into what's happening with the slave trade and the
expulsion? You know they would be black because they was black since they got there in the 1000s when they set up Portugal. Through the Knights Templar and through the Order of Santiago and through King the Conqueror, William. Was it William or no, it starts with H. Enrique or whatever, the Conqueror.
But slide to the next slide real quick, Monte. Because I think we really I think people got that. Menasseh, you know what I mean? We're gonna get to Cromwell soon. Because I know time, and I want to make sure you get this connection though. See, because you asked for the connection. So this guy right here is the connection because of the book he wrote, you know what I'm saying? Tied to what 90 just told you, and the timeline that take you back from 1290 into 1492, and then exposition and expulsions and the terms being called, or these people being called, that's Moors, Jews, and even the indigenous people who also are being called certain terms because they're dark-skinned people. Ain't that something? But at the same time, why Cromwell was convinced is why the Puritans already saw England as New Judah. This is what Puritans saw: New Israel, New Judah. They introduced this Israel thing back. Because before that, they were using terms like Hebrew. They were using terms like Jew or Yahudim. They were using terms black or more. You know what I'm talking about? Saracen. You know what I'm saying? They weren't using actually the term Israelite until the Puritans in the time frame of Cromwell. This is why he's heavily convinced. And I'm going to lay this out for you now. He was heavily convinced. He says the Puritans already saw England as Judah or New Israel, and Americas as Arzareth. You know that's tied to Esdras, right? Arzareth. I like it too. USA, United States of Arzareth. Just to let y'all know. Just, you know, I coined that. It's the first to say it. I'm the first to say it. The United States of Arzareth, based off the Puritans. Shout out to the Puritans. I'm Puritan.
Arzareth being code word for America.
Correct. Code word. Code word.
Just like Atlantis to the Greeks.
Right. From a religious standpoint, within the narrative of all this, Arzareth in their mind is tied to the code word America, and them being able to come over here after the Inquisitions and all the things took place, from them move freely within certain things. And we're going to show you how they were allowed to move freely until certain things happen later on. And they're now being called certain things here, which is also tied to that term Negro. But however, you know, this Menasseh evidence aligned perfectly with their belief, Puritans, that reuniting England and Ephraim. I know I don't use that often. Ephraim, you know, Jacob's grandson. Yeah, tied to the tribe called what? Isn't it like similar to this one right here on the screen? Menasseh. Isn't it Menasseh and Ephraim are the grandchildren? Oh, if y'all don't know, go. You know, I ain't gonna do that right now. But still, you know, funny enough, he got that name close to that tribe. But Ephraim is, you know, tied to the 10 tribes of Israel. Benjamin, sons of Israel. He got it in the right codex too, and within that, you know, his influence on Puritan America is obviously a part of this too. This is because Menasseh's writings shaped leading Puritan thinkers. Like, I'm gonna give y'all the names. If you got the names on there, do we have the names, Monte, in our slides?
Of what?
Do we have more slides? Because I got some names for the folks. I don't know if it's on the slide. No, keep going. See, we are let them. Matter of fact, let it sit there.
No, I got a whole list. Don't worry, I got a whole list.
Let that sit there for a second.
Yeah.
So we gonna let them catch up, just so everybody see we showing the slides at least from what we present. You know what I'm talking about?
So they just lined up because we didn't put the actual source that this is derived from in the chat. So it's on archives.org. So make sure you're walking with us. Questions we'll take at the end. So put them in the chat as we go.
All right. So boom. These are the people chronologizing what the indigenous people look like. When people say, oh, they look like they were copper colored, dark skin. You know what I'm talking about? Negro looking, Ethiopian like looking. You know what I'm saying? Black and more looking, you know what I'm saying? Mound building, traditional things tied to things that they thought based off of biblical ideals of what traditions are tied to Ephraim and the 10 lost tribes who during the time frame of the Assyrian exile went into the area that's described in Esdras as Arzareth. Now I need to, am I tripping? Do I need to pull up the verse? I think I have it.
You good. Keep cooking.
All right, bet money. So within that now, we got Menasseh describing American tribes as copper-colored, Ethiopian-like, practicing Hebrew-like, purification and covenant traditions. These descriptions align with certain tribes tied to what we call mound-building culture on this side, Bama. You heard me? But at the same time, it's his influence on Puritan America. It's this Menasseh's writings shaped, again, these thinkers, again, I'm getting to these names, Increase Mathers. And then his son, Cotton Mathers. I shouldn't put the S because the surnames are very particular, so I'm going to spell it again. Increase, like, you know how you increase something? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's how it's spelled. If you look at the increase part, and then Mather, Mather, and then his son would be Cotton, Cotton, Mather. Then we got Roger Williams. I want to make sure I give you all these names. that are influenced by what's happening with this book, Menasseh and Cromwell. All right. I know most of y'all know this next person coming up. You heard me? John Eliot. Y'all know who John Eliot is, right? And if y'all know who John Eliot is, he's the first one to say he's going to take the Bible and translate it into an indigenous language to convert indigenous people to become Christians, because he thought that they was what? Tied to the 10 lost tribes of Israel. Oh. And how did he identify them? As copper colored and dark skin. Oh. Now, are they a part of that? That might be the next build, coming up before we get out the year. But we just want to get the connection right so you can get with this influence and this timeline of thing. Go to the next slide, though. Ozareth, United States of Ozareth, American Maroons. We said it to you first. You hear me? United States of Ozareth, exile. It's tied to exile. It's tied from a political time frame of exile, and it's Gola. You know what I mean? Gullah. You hear me? Understanding of heritage and what people are being described as is going through this heritage of exile from 1492 and the things that are taking place going into the 16th, 17th century in Southeast North America, or North America, based off where Puritans may be located.
Hey, so what you're saying is that Alhama decree of 1492, when the same year they supposedly found America, but in that January decree to expose them from Spain, all the Jews, merchants, everyone had, you got 90 days, be up out of here. Queen Elizabeth, Ferdinand, they banging on them. At that particular time, they run to what? Their safe haven. We already know. Yaya El Negro's land, Portugal. They go to the port of the Gauls. They go there knowing that we can get them out of there and on the run. So in 1492, later on after this expulsion, a lot of those people that was exposed out of there, remember Portugal had control of the Azores, of St. Tome, of Cape Verde, of Angola, 60 to 80 years before 1492. So let's understand who was really sent into slavery first. I'm trying to say those Portuguese black Negroes who had to leave Spain in January of 1492 in that decree. Later on that year, they had the expulsion of the Moors, the Muslims. So it's a Catholic monarch, Queen Elizabeth and King Ferdinand, expelling two factions of religious ideologies. One is a banking system, the Jew, the black Jew, and one is a black Moor. And they're getting rid of them. A lot of them that went to the Azores and Cape Verde and Tume and all those islands that Henry the Navigator found, the Portuguese found. Prior to that they say were there since 1411. They were there. But I believe way before then, because they were the seafaring people, and Portugal was one of the greatest. So at this time, we got to understand who is Ebenezer talking about 160 years later after this, they had to leave. They had to leave, so he's 160 years later. He's seeing remnants of what came in that Atlantic slave trade. He's seeing remnants of what came in the so-called Kalelus stories of the 700s in Utah. He's seeing remnants of what just came in, because he's 150 years removed from people running from Spain. Most of them went to Portugal and Dutch, and then a lot of them came to the safe haven that they already knew, and that was this. And this is why you get the Columbus theory that he was a double agent for Portugal, and his true name was Ferdinand Zargo. And Ferdinand is a Castilian crypto-Jewish name from 850. His name is Ferdinand El Negro Nunez. We did this live on him over 2 years ago. So Ferdinand is a code, just like you will see some of these people that financed Cromwell are Jewish codes. And one of those codes is Ebenezer Pratt. Pratt is a code for trick. Ebenezer is a Jewish word that means cunning assistance or a trick of assistance. So the main funder that I'm going to show in this live, Ebenezer Pratt, that ain't really his name. But history has him as Ebenezer Pratt. He has a letter to Cromwell. Cromwell is asking for financial assistance. And Ebenezer Pratt is telling him, if you get rid of King Charles, I got you. Go ahead, Mac. We have the letter. Go ahead, Mac.
Hey, real quick. Hold on. We got to pay some bills real quick, boy. Y'all been cooking. We're going to go to commercial real quick. Hey, in the chat, let us know what's good. We appreciate the likes, the super chats, the shares, all that. We finna go to commercial. We'll be right back. We cooking. Put your questions in the chat. We got about 30, 40 more minutes, so y'all tap in, bro. Let us know what's up. We going to commercial.
Could take quite a bit of time.
Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces. How the fuck you bummy and broke but a pale racist? My lineage free people of color with a left make each nigga. This right here maroon, now it ain't burgundy. If you plotting murder, I'm certain that you'll need surgery. Hurt from when the burner squeeze. Protecting tribe business. Only consulting with governments, tribe to tribe with it. Please don't confuse us with those considered native. Semi-autonomy never was in our nature. Just address me as Esther Lusty. Wild Indian status and Cherokees riding Ruchis. In my war bonnet, if you want it, bring it to your region. And black forces the same color the European. Pardon my autonomy. I know one day they'll honor me. This ain't pertaining to 28 Deuteronomy. Self-determination, controlling our situation. Ain't no more indoctrination from pale faces.
Aborigines, which means what? Black folks. But you never find a white aborigine. Aborigines are called natives, or they're always dark-skinned people. You and I are aborigines, but you don't like to be called an aborigine.
Check. All right, we back. Oliver Cromwell's connection to the Black Jews, 90 through Mac. We cooking. We done talked about the Puritans, the hope of Israel. You done brought up these names here. Where we at with it now, man?
All right, so boom. As as we took the break and we tap in with us, you hear me? I want you to understand that's the foundation of the information, unless somebody can show us some other information, right? That we've dug up to show to you guys tonight on Sunday service with the Cromwell connection to Black Jews. And hopefully you're seeing through the sources we're showing you and the petition tied to certain individuals. This guy right here got a whole book. Go buy the book. If you don't know, you know what I'm talking about? We obviously shared it, right? Monty, you shared it?
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Menasseh. Yeah. All right. So we ain't hiding no information live on this. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's like we ask you to read from something or tell you about something and let you go see for yourself that this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's not being autonomous. You know what I'm saying? That's not being autonomous. So within this, though, John Elliott, again, y'all go research these individuals, right? Time frame, increased Mather, Cotton Mather, adopt what it say the thesis. You know what I'm saying? Now, this guy right here got a book that y'all can also go buy. See, I'm giving y'all plugs tonight with the connection to Cromwell and the Black Jews. Thorogood, Jews in America. Parallels whose work? Menasseh's work. And who petitioned, not just wrote a book, petitioned. And Cromwell actually did it. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you got to understand what's happening here at this time frame, right? Now, Cromwell actually did it based off of this right here. That Puritan connection, which later became known as Baptist, Methodist, and you know what I mean? We have this Old Testament and different ideals that come out, the denominational ideals with a lot of black folk with their mixtures. Yeah, with their mixtures in them churches. Yeah, we can go into later on. We ain't gonna do it tonight though. Well, because I got some shit now that I'm showing y'all this stuff. See, I want y'all to see the root of these things. Because when I get into America, let's say I'm going like this with y'all. It's gonna be a problem.
Right.
But I want you to see the root of it before I say it, so you won't think I'm being biased. Autonomously speaking. And I want you to be autonomous with your thoughts and make sure you're reading these sources and researching these individuals before you come on us and say anything about us and what we're saying, because we're going back to where you might have got it from. You don't know you got it from them. We on the same page, y'all? Tap in.
Yeah, cooking.
Puritans describe indigenous peoples. You see that on that screenshot? Puritans, based off the time frame in the 16th to 17th century. You heard me? We can pull up the treaties and shit that's happening too. We ain't gonna do that right now either. That's right. We just focusing on this right over tonight. Make sure y'all get this right. After the last show, shout out to Handsome History. You know what I mean?
Yep.
When we do the part 2 with Handsome History, now we're gonna include the fact of the influx of other people tied to his background and that's coming in too. Because some of them Puritans that he just showed y'all, right, are describing this. If you go research them, right? They wouldn't say they look like us. So you gonna call me out? Hey, call them out then, ain't it? At the same time, Thorogood's Jews America. It's a good book to go check out. I'm gonna take y'all out there on the party listening live. You know what I mean? Go check them out. You know what I mean? Thorogood's Jews in America. All right, same time frame. It all correlates. Got a timeline. Again, we in the timeline. Puritan scribe. I read that. Okay. Cromwell's parliament sees discovery of tribes prophetic. Not prophetic. We're gonna move now. Move to the next slide. We good now. I think they got that part. We're gonna move on up. You know what I'm talking? We're gonna move on up. Hold on, make sure.
Wait, Mac. What was the last line?
What are you talking about?
Cromwell's what?
Cromwell's parliament sees discovery of tribes as prophetic. Yeah, I want them to see that. They get tied to the Puritan and all this stuff going on with Menasseh. Yeah, I want y'all to see that. Yeah.
And I want to add some historical context. Cromwell killed King James's son. Let's remember who Cromwell is. Cromwell's family was knights within Parliament for years. They were disgruntled. Cromwell the Knight, just Google him. Cromwell the Great Knight, all his family. We'll show it later. Cromwell's family was always in Parliament. They were at odds with King James and the divine right of kings, because the divine right of kings gave total control to the monarchs and Parliament had no voice. Being that they were the knights, which means knights collect tax, they go out to the wars, they're the generals, they're part of orders, Knights Templar, Knights of Malta, Knights of Knights. So at this time, those particular knights, Cromwell's family is a knighthood family in Parliament. He's the one that becomes disgruntled because his grandfather, the great Cromwell, who Elizabeth knighted, Elizabeth I, who passed the throne to King James. Now think about that. He's killing King James's son.
Mm-hmm.
Grandfather was a stout Tudor. He was for the House of Tudor. The House of Tudor said he got it, the military ready. Let's get it. And remember, knights are collecting taxes. They own the ports. Okay. So at that time, Cromwell is not only at odds because of Parliament's voice, he also has a part claim to the throne that people don't want to talk about because he is a steward. So he tried to disconnect his steward, had Robert the Great, but he is a steward. And we're going to get into that maybe in part 7 or 8.
Yeah.
Cromwell at that time, you got to look at him as he can be doing one or two things. He can be getting a voice for Parliament, or he could be trying to usurp the throne as a divine right of kings underhand, because he has bloodline claim rights that many scholars that y'all going to research, 70% of them disputed, saying it's false. 30% of them say they injected some genealogies, because genealogies in the 1600s were written by the family house lead, or the Grand Master of a lodge, so to speak.
Hey, at the same time, though. Oh, wait, you heard me?
You good?
Yeah.
I thought I was in the club for a second. How that?
No, feedback. We good though. Yeah.
Okay. No, at the same time, that people and what's happening in 1492, or even based off the requiremento of 1510, showing you who, based off of European documentation, are the groups of people who will be located in what they call the West Indies. You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
So within that context, that would include the Indians, as they would like to use, and that's not, and I would be fair about it, this term is not a racial term at this time. It's tied to you just being aboriginal to the territories of the West Indies when the European crown comes in, tied to Spain and Portugal. You know what I'm saying? And Columbus, 1492, right? Shout out to my Zoes, Hispaniola, right? You know what I'm saying? So in the understanding of that, you know what I'm saying, Neg Maroon. You know what I'm saying? And in the situation of that is not going to be, when we look at the totality of things that's happening, we walk up in the 1600s now, this is after, remember, understand the timeline. King James the 6th or the 1st of England, the KJV Bible, 1611, all the things that we've been showing you, that's showing you reminiscences of this term Hebrew being used because of these people being tied to being in these areas and their influence amongst even Germanic people who later on are tied to what we call Protestant Old Testament ideals. You see what I'm saying? I want to make sure I say it like that. You heard me? Monte, what you think about that? Because I think that needs to be said. Because
I think you're on point with that, and all I would add is that excuse me, the Negro Sephardic Jew banker from Portugal, those bloodlines are very traceable. I joke with my brothers from Brooklyn all the time, my peoples up there that are Israelites, and I joke with them and say, hey, I'm doing the work y'all should be doing, because these bloodlines are those bloodlines you're saying that people are from. If you watch Portugal, this is for researchers, if you look at just Portugal from 1050 to this time, you will know and understand those lines the banking lines keep coming out of Portugal. Waves of banking lines coming out of Portugal. For all researchers, you will see this. So Portugal is the safe haven of those who were expelled in biblical times. So I will add that. And King James knew that. Cromwell knew that. Thoreau Wood knew that. And we didn't even add, James Adair said that about the Carolina Cherokee.
Right.
In 1700. But, you know, there's sources that say what you're saying. And I would just say, America's not the Israelites. The Israelites always had a haven in America, and we're showing that, and we will be able to show that through the Mormon Bible. They always had a haven, and they always knew this place. And this was their so-called promised land away from jurisdictions that infringed upon
Syrian,
their ideological and religious beliefs. This was their haven from that. And through their expulsions, just like the last person in the Bible, King Zedekiah, his kids end up being folklore, 3 of them, 8 of them, altogether 5 killed in front of him. 2 women, 1 secret son escapes named Mulek, who's picked up in the Mormon Bible and is part of the Mulekites in the Mormon Bible. So these expulsions been happening. That's an expulsion that is 600 BC, King Nebuchadnezzar in the biblical text, that takes 1 child to America, 1 child to Scotland, and Tamar T. Teffy, 1 child to Spain. And T, which we already covered.
I mean, we know we've said this, right? But this is why
it's all culminating, because it's easy to tell the narrative, because they can go back and look at these lives. The El Negro series explains all these things that are happening.
And you and I, as we do this breakdown of this time frame, I'm gonna actually do genealogy coming up soon on this. So if anybody think that we just saying it like we don't, like, okay, now I need to go and show you the genealogy. put out there that, you know, you could use these templates of what we're doing to show why we're saying this and why we are presenting it and showing descriptions and the heritage and the lineage tied to not religious ideals, but exile ideals. When you understand what Rome is ascribing and these other groups later on, Germanic as well, who became tied to the Roman Catholic Church, are using to describe people in their regions that are not in West Africa as these dark-skinned people. You know what I'm talking about? And how they come to America, as we just broke down. And could there be a mixture? Isn't that the word mulatto? I'm going to show y'all something. But I want to make sure I lay out this time frame of what's happening in the ideals. If you want to call these Puritans white folk in your mind, right? Whatever. And if you think of them differently. However, this is their documentation. It's not mine. You hear me? So Thomas, as we got there to Cromwell, you know what I mean? This Cromwell, Oliver, he break identity, right? I want you to know all the people tied to it, so you won't put it on me autonomously. You know what I'm saying? Govern yourself accordingly in these conversations. Outside of who we mentioned, again, increased matter. I want you to see the screen. I'm showing you where all this is going to be tied to get to this ideal of what's coming out of this ideal, however you want to get. How you feel about it is not my opinion. Obviously, from Increased Mathers, minister, president of Harvard. Did y'all hear that?
Harvard.
Increased Mather, minister and president of Harvard. That's why Harvard, in this time frame going forward, had Greek, Latin, Hebrew as the foundational things tied to people getting educated in America.
So you can have the totality of the history,
And guess who he quoted? Increased Math. Menasseh, Montezino, and Acosta. That now I need to go and show you. I bet you don't want no smoke. And then it says, claimed the 10 tribes were located in America. This is tied to Harvard. Increased Math. I want y'all to see, understand. Cromwell, he break.
That's a crazy name.
Huh?
That's a crazy name.
Increased Math. You heard me?
Never know nobody. First name Increase.
Increase. Increased Mather, not only being president of Harvard, is linked to natives with Arzareth, or United States of Arzareth. Y'all heard it first here. You heard me? Yeah, foundational, colonial time frame. United States of America ain't even here yet. You know what I'm talking about? But they had this idea. This is the united regional area of this traditional people being restored and being able to move in a certain way. In the continent today we call it North America. Harvard, no, don't get mad at me. All right now. Why? Because his son come up next. Cotton Mather, his son. We got the name named Cotton. Now, continued Hebraic importations of Angela, Christie, Amarcana, you heard me? Asserted native customs reflected Israelite remnants. Now, who are these native people they describing as Israelites? And if we understand who Israelites or Yahudim, Menasseh, Ephraim, Canaanites, etc., Moors, Blackamoors, swarthy people, they're definitely coinciding with a certain ideal of who they're talking about, who's indigenous, and what they're thinking about who the indigenous people are, and the people that are already also here, tied to coming from over there, tied to that Inquisition. Monte, you want to say something?
Yeah. So I want them to see, because, so when you hear this talk, right, people get it confused with us, because if we give a certain ideology credit for something, they'll think that we participate in that ideology. Nope. So, for example, you got Hebrews that's tapped in with us tonight. This is some information that they have been leaning towards, and people think that just because they may see some of the antics, that there's not a portion of what they're saying that is historically accurate. So when you reference a lot of the things that the Hebrews, they talk about the Bible a lot. Well, the problem that we get as historians is a lot of people want to discount the Bible as history because the names have changed, right? But the story and movement of people is accurate. You see what I'm saying? This is why so much name changing and nationality switching was happening after the fact in order to go. But it was literally, if you think about this, that King James Version was authored together. That team they put together was in 1611. All of this is happening after that. You see what I'm saying? So it's important to keep this in mind. So when you hear a name like Increase Mather, this ain't made up. Buddy literally was the president of Harvard and came and was saying these same exact things about what people look like, who they were, what was going on in America, how they look similar to people they were seeing in Europe too. Like, yeah, this ain't no made up name. So I just want them to understand that, Mac.
No. I appreciate that. But you just threw me an alley-oop. That's what you just did. That's all. I was coming down the baseline. You know what I'm talking about? I was sitting at the corner 3.
Yeah,
They stepped on me, and I came down Sean Kemp. You heard me? Yeah. I'm not making this up. See, even though we talking to you like this, you know what I mean, in our autonomous American Maroon, Indigenous, Native, Black way, historian-wise, and covering these things. And again, I really, just like how genuinely we had the party, and I asked, and shout out to Monte and everybody that made it happen, for us to be able to bring in Travis, Hanson History, to tie it to that Anglo-Saxon thing that I wanted to open the door conversation about, because I think it's cap. I'm not buying into that all these white folk came over here on some royalty situations based on what Rome telling me. And even their own white folk telling you that. You know what I'm talking
about? The same thing. They've been saying that, honestly. We didn't want to hear it, though. They know they ain't come from this shit. Yeah,
no, I'm not going to play no games because we didn't dug it up. You're talking about like how they dug up Cromwell. When you heard, I want y'all to research what they did to Cromwell. Boy, they did him worse than Yahshua.
They did him bad, bro.
They did this man right here. We're going to get into it, though. I want to lay out the connection, though. So y'all won't be saying, oh, the autonomous party is on here trying to buy into, like you said, Monte, some religious ideal or something. No, that's not what's happening. That's not what's happening. Esther Lusty, Gullah. Shout out to my Maroons outside. You already know what it is. From the Americas, tied to this time frame. Because we got people, as we showed, that were coming out of these same areas and being described in all the Caribbean areas, Suriname and all Jamaica, Haiti, all these areas. Europeans were participating in. You heard me? Okay, all the laws and decrees being passed. You know what I'm talking about? I'm seeking consistently to the record, not religiously. You know what I'm talking about? I know the genealogy, just like we do genealogy. Yeah, I got the genealogy. Tap into the Maroonville. You heard me? And we're going to show you the genealogy of these things, that these Protestants and these Puritans and these other different groups of people were subscribing based off of even things that were happening, petitioning, lawfully speaking, at this time frame of the 17th century. Yeah, the connection. Cromwell and the connection. You got to put the witnesses and the people that wrote shit and everything involved, right? You can't just be talking about Cromwell and not know all the people involved, right? Yeah. All right, so hold on. Again, Thomas Thorogood in this time frame. That's his whole name. We showed you Thorogood, but it's Thomas Thorogood, author of the Jews in America, or probabilities that Americans are of the 10 lost tribes, 1650, same time frame. All right, I'm getting consistent with all the sources you go research. You heard me? Autonomously, and it says parallel publication to Menasseh's work. Ben Menasseh, who did what? Petitioned Cromwell. All right. Used the same evidence base. This man right here, Thomas, tied to this ideal, indigenous copper-colored nations viewed through Hebrew lens. All this right here that's on the screen is correlating to these individuals. You heard me? So I don't want you to think it's me. I'm giving you the sources tonight. I told y'all going to be on one earlier. I told y'all this. And Moses Wall. Last name Wall. W-A-L-L. Here. Moses wrote Puritan commentary for 1651 London edition. Asserted asserted indigenous people were tawny and dark like the Jews of Spain and Portugal. I'm giving you the references. Tell me if I'm tripping tonight. I ain't playing no games about what they're talking about in this time frame. Hey, even if people want to debate about, you know what I'm talking about? Oh, the religious idea of, indigenous people being of the 10 lost tribes, they dark-skinned people, though. I know that much.
Mm-hmm.
Being called Negroes. Based off the Israelite Jew ideal of being first called the Negro. Going back to Simon and Niger, based off Roman description of the word Niger and Negro come back to, before even Arzareth being disclosed to those people of the time frame of 1492 going into this time period. Now, if y'all think I'm tripping, I'm just throwing some things out there. Go fishing. You heard me? I'm gonna keep it real as the fishing rods. You heard me? I swear, it's gonna be real as the fishing rod. Because I got more names. I want to make sure you get it before we leave here.
Naming names.
Names. I'm putting names on it. Samuel Sewell, author of Philo Indicus, viewed Native Americans as descendants of Israel, connected them to prophetic expeditions. John Dury, Puritan reformer and theologian, promoted the view that the lost tribes were discovered in America, worked with Thorogood, and supported Menasseh's thesis. Connection to Cromwell. Roger Williams. You heard that? Roger Williams, founder of Rhode Island. You heard that?
Yeah.
Founder of Rhode Island. Yeah. Documented Hebrew-like customs in native societies. Linguistic parallels reinforce Israelite theories. Edward Winslow. Y'all heard that surname before. Winslow.
Yeah. Winslows.
Yeah.
Eddie. Yeah.
The leader of the Plymouth colony. Described native diplomacy in Hebrew terms. Used Israelite parallels in treaty frameworks. Cromwell's Parliamentarians, and that's why we here on Oliver now. See, we're almost there. It's 8 o'clock. We're a little bit over. But, Monte, let me walk. I'm almost done. I ain't going to take too much long. Oliver Cromwell, Henry Jesse, Nathaniel Holmes believed discovery of tribes signaled Israel's restoration, as people call today, reparations, based off the exile situation that King Edward I did in 1290, that Cromwell said after the petition from Menasseh and all the influences around people with influence at the time frame, you know what I mean? Predating Benjamin Franklin, by the way. You know what I'm talking about? This is predating Benjamin Franklin's even assets of things of 1752.
Hey, check this out. Bro, Rolling Thunder, where he say they was European Negroes, Eliot. They built a church in Roxbury, Massachusetts called the Eliot Church. My great-grandfather, Joshua Lamb, helped found the record stating he is dark-skinned.
Uh-oh. That's why I say I like it live like this. You see these surnames I'm reading off to y'all, right? Some of y'all got, y'all black folks?
Yeah. I know buku black people surname Elliott. Whole bunch. Shout out to my partner Elo, man. Yeah, it's a lot of people.
I'll make sure, you know what I mean? I'm not making nothing up, you know what I'm saying? So Oliver Cromwell, he break, you know what I'm saying? Puritan American. You know what I mean? We showed you last week how it came up. That's when we say, yeah, we can't skip over this. We gotta hit it when it's hot. You hear me? You know what I'm talking about? We cooking, right? We in the kitchen, and we ain't kitchen no bullshit. We cooking you some real shit. We can show you everything. You know what I'm talking about? Everything you eat, you see it before it's given to you. You choose to eat it or not, it's on you. The Puritans were the most Hebraic movement in Europe. Understand what's happening. Now, I ain't disclosing the Moravians, because the Moravians were on some, you know what I'm saying, some shit too.
Yeah.
We brought up the Moravians before. Trying for back once mine, back in the day we done did, you know what I'm saying? That Germanic move. Okay, anyways, we ain't gonna do that right now. Methodist, Puritan though, we on Puritans, and these folk right here and their documentation in the time frame. Puritans centered their political and spiritual worldview on Hebrew Bible. That go back to King James, 1611. Yeah, they saw themselves as New Israel, adopting names, laws, and covenants directly from Old Testament patterns. They referred to themselves as Hebraists, English Israelites, or Old Testament men. Cromwell's inner circle was Hebraic. Cromwell surrounded himself with leading Hebrew scholars such as John Milton, John Sadler, and Hugh Peters. Also worked with Rabbi Menasseh ben Israel, whose appeal helped overturn England's 1290 expulsion of Jews. His advisors believed England had a covenant identity tied to the tribes of Israel. Lifting the 1290 expulsion was a Hebraic act. Cromwell restored Yahudim to England because Puritan theology saw their return as a part of Deuteronomy 30, Isaiah 11, Romans 11. They believed the lost tribes had reached Arzareth, United States of Arzareth. You heard it first. You heard me? I'm letting you know. We restyling this. You heard me? We restyling this from an exile standpoint. We restyling this. You heard me? You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to the party. All my Maroons outside. Yeah. And that reuniting of Judah and Ephraim. And, Ephraim, Jacob's grandson, was prophetic. Puritan Hebraism was ethnic, cultural, and covenant-based. Now, this is important. We're going to slide in a minute. We're almost done. We're going to have to do a part 2 to this one right here. See, because there's so much information here. You see where we at on the thing?
Oh, yeah.
We got more to add on.
Yeah. You got to give me like 15 minutes right now.
Look at that.
I got a bench.
All right, so I'm gonna say this and land because we're gonna get out here in like 10 minutes or so. So I'm gonna let you in out 9.
Yeah.
Based off all the things we just want to lay out, based off of this connection to Cromwell and the Black Jews. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure this all is laid out with the individuals too. So witnesses. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna call me into no court. No, you ain't gonna call me nowhere. Autonomously speaking, I'm standing right here, right? And I'm telling you who is saying this, not me. We're getting our research from the source of the root. You know what I'm talking about? That's all. What they describing the people as, what their thought processes was, what the political situation was, etc. You heard me? I'm just giving you the layout. You know what I'm talking about? We in blueprint.
And we can track the migration through the records too. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we doing it all. We doing it in the totality.
Yeah, we in Blueprint Recorded Studio. We're going to give you the blueprint. That's what we do the autonomous way. You heard me? Go ahead, Joe. I'm Africa's. Boy, listen, I got notes. Y'all seen what I sent y'all. So I'm trying to, I think I did a good job though, overall.
Yeah, Monte, pull up the slide.
All right.
Go ahead now. Slide on.
Let me see.
We on 2?
What's page? That's page 2?
Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah. Okay, page 2. This is still from Maximilian Mission. This is still from the same book that we have up there. New Voyage to Italy. And in that, he's explaining the times. So a New Voyage to Italy, 1691 to 1698. It was, the tone of the book is admiring, tolerant, Protestant, and pro-Dutch. So he's writing from a pro-Dutch perspective, and he's basically caught in his own expulsion. The Edict of Nantes got him on the move. What he said about the Jews of Holland and Amsterdam is the New Jerusalem in this particular book. The Portuguese Jews are the wealthy, educated, orderly, and industrious. Dutch tolerance is responsible for Amsterdam's economic success. He points out the grand synagogues, the Hebrew academics, and learned rabbis. He praises the contributions to trade, global commerce, and finance. He sees the example on how religious freedom strengthens the nation. His descriptions of the Roman Jews in his book, he also spoke about the little black Jewish women in Rome in this book. He also spoke about the German Ashkenazi, which we will show they get the banking industry around 1890. And we're going to show that in this series. Sephardic black Jews had it all the way up until 1777 and 1790s. And then it kind of like was in between everyone's hands. And then the Khazarian Jews got it. But most of those learned from particular Jews from Portuguese who took certain names that I'm going to show you one of them. Forgot his name, but it was called something Ashkenazi. But he was actually the Ashkenazi diplomat from Sephardic Judah. So we'll show that. Go to the next page. I want to go to his quotes. No. Yeah. Next page. Holland as a refuge. You got that?
Yeah. Holland as a refuge for Jews. Yep.
Yeah,
Number one.
That Holland was the most tolerant place in Europe at this time in 1660, and he praised the Dutch for permitting different religions to live there openly. Remember, he's trying to map the world for his people that's caught in his own Huguenot French expulsion, and he knows wherever these Negro Jews are is a safe haven. So his travel books is going to highlight those areas so that his Huguenot French people who are fleeing that area can have their own place, because he knows that the Jews are the most industrious. So he said he praised them, the Spanish Jews, some Ashkenazi Jews from Germany and Poland, which I will show later, who wrote the Kabbalah. Not the one that we know of, but a long story. The author said it was a sanctuary, like a sanctuary city. He emphasized their wealth and their influence. Go to the next page. Oh, no, stay there. These three families, the Curial family was a crypto-Judaic Negro family consortium headed by Moses Curial. Look at that name, Geronimo. Y'all thought Geronimo was some indigenous American name?
Yeah.
It's Jewish code word, and we're going to show how that goes back. These Negro Jews was the master of pre-Ebonics. They were the master of seafaring languages. You'll start to understand that because we have the source material that showed this. So this consortium, this family operated extensive trading networks spanning from Amsterdam, London, and Portuguese colonies, involving financial trade, shipping, extending credit, and dealing with goods like sugar, spices, and textiles. The Belmont family, all these names, they change. They jump from family to family. These names are place names. They're the masters of place names. Like I said, the name of the actual letter that we're going to get to right now, it's a place name. It's a code. It's a Jewish code. And I actually believe I know who the person is, but that's a long story. Okay, the Carvajal, Mac already talked about that consortium that led Antonio Fernandez, a prominent Sephardic Jew merchant in London, among first openly practiced Jews in England after readmission under Cromwell. He financed ships, provided loans to English government, and played a key role in London's Jewish commercial life. Next page. This is mission statements from the book, particular. We already read the first one about the Jews being black and always marrying amongst themselves. His second quote is that the Jews of Amsterdam are for the most part Portuguese. They are descendants of those who fled from persecution of Spain and Portugal, and they had recovered their liberty, their wealth, and their ancient dignity. As Max said, they left in 1492. They had to get up out of there. Queen Elizabeth, King Ferdinand, they had to go, but they found the place in Amsterdam. His next quote is, Amsterdam's may very well be called the New Jerusalem, for nowhere in Europe does the Jew enjoy such perfect a liberty, nor live more splendor or security. Insecurity. Put those quotes up there. I want to skip to, just to show you this French that he wrote in the New York, these Portuguese Jews are black. That is the statement in the translation, because the book is a translation of English.
Yeah.
I wanted to put this up there so you know that Maxim, Mr. Mission over here, he's on his mission. And Maxim Mission, I did his genealogy. He's cold, so he could be crypto Jew. Hiding as a Huguenot under the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because his thing don't go back too far. A lot of these Jews, they don't go back too far, but then you jump them, and you catch them. Anyway, His other one was the Jews of Germany are not blacker than their countrymen. Pay attention to this statement. The countrymen of Jew are predominantly black at this time. He's letting you know the Ashkenazi Jew and that mulatto Jew that was in West North are not as dark as the fucking countrymen. The countrymen are the Hessians that fought in the Revolution War that they say was from Africa. Those are Negro Europeans. They can make up a story on how they came from Africa. They don't have no story. They just say they're from Africa. And somewhere along the line, Europe subjugated them, and they came to America, and they were part of the revolution. The redcoats are coming. The German they were banging the real bloods. We're going to move on. Anyway, he said, we're going to go to why increase the number of the swarthy by importing them into Pennsylvania? Why should we darken ourselves while a lovely white are so rare? We already know that's Benjamin Franklin's quote. Yeah. He also said, why Germanize us with those Negroes that mission seen? He's seen that the Jews over there are not as black as their countrymen. Don't be bringing these Germans in. So it's showing you 100 years after mission. That quote from Benjamin is basically reiterating the truth. Next page, Cromwell's religious reviews. We're not even going to go through that because we went there. I want to get to the letter. This is a letter of Cromwell to Ebenezer Pratt. When you check history, Ebenezer Pratt's going to pop up in London and Italy as a great financier merchant. Ebenezer means stone of... Could someone in chat, GB? Someone in the chat, we're going to do y'all going to get some homework right now. Find out what Ebenezer means in Jewish. It means stone of something. It just means a cunning trick of assistance, basically. So this is a cunning trick of assistance from the deep Masoretic.
The stone of help.
The stone of help. Okay. Yeah. So, and Pratt means trick or being cunning. Yeah. So it's a cunning trick. It's a cunning stone of help. A trick in the stone of help. Yeah. This is a game that they play that's deeply Masonic. We can't get into it. And so now, this person, Cromwell's writing to in 1665. He says, I'm writing to you with due respect and consideration, understanding the weight of your credit and influence in the mercantile affairs across these lands. The Commonwealth stands at a time of great trial and need. Our forces committed to securing the peace and liberties won by the providence of God require the means to sustain these efforts. It is therefore with trust and confidence that I beseech your favor in lending such funds or credit as your wisdom and means may permit. Your dealings are well known and your integrity esteemed. This I am persuaded then an alliance or whatever, alliance in this matter will not only serve the cause of justice and peace, but also further the prosperity of our mutual commerce. Pray accept this request with the assurance of my gratitude and promise due recompense. I'm giving you everything back as soon as the affairs of the Commonwealth permit. May the Almighty God bless whatever ventures. Now this is Ebenezer back at this time, and this is pre-Charles ain't dead yet. He said, my Lord, I have received your esteemed letter and take it in the mark of a great trust you place in my humble self and affairs. The times indeed fraught with uncertainty, yet we recognize the cause for which your labor to secure your peace and prosperity. Upon the removal of His Majesty King Charles, King James's son, and the assured readmission of our people to England, it shall be indeed but to grant such finances, aids as you wish. What you want, bills? Yeah. I got it. Like we them Negroes. We pledge that our support shall be liberal and steadfast, mindful and good fortune, and the alliance may bring to both our peoples. May Almighty God use these endeavors. Yours faithfully, a stunning trick of help. Of help, because we need we've been on a run and it's popping. Let's get to the next one because I want to get to one real part. No, not that one. Oh, yes. This economic role, real quick, of the Jewish financiers in Amsterdam. They basically finance the trades in Amsterdam, and you can check a lot of the names that's going to be on the list. Get to the next page because I just want to get to the list and we're going to close out. Just so people that are researchers can go check these names and see what's going on. So we're going to go to the top 20 Sephardic Negro financings connected to Cromwell's era. Dr. Abraham Mercado, he messed with bullion. He shipped credit. Any ship credit, he would fund that ship. He Caribbean leverage. He had plantations in Brazil. Heavily Sephardic Judaism in Brazil. That's why Brazil is the biggest Afro Latino place, because they really crypto Negro Jews that fled the Inquisition and were living there for 200, 300 years. That was the safe haven of these Negro Jews. Francisco Lopez, the dynasty of capital and naval syndicates. Isaac and Abraham Levy, which came from the house of Levi. A sister asked the question in the chat, could that be the 10 tribes and the 2 tribes? You have to understand, most of these are the last, because the banking tribe was basically protected by Judah. So when everything left, Judah, most of these are Judah, Levi, Benjamin, that are dealing with money and banking. Those 3 tribal people. And we showed how, Judah is deeply in that. Haile Selassie said he came from Judah through Menasseh and Solomon. So it's a long story. But this list, I want y'all to see that they dealt with Brazil, and they helped fund Cromwell's Western design. Yes, it was called Cromwell's Western design, and Cromwell wanted to take Cuba, Hispaniola, and Jamaica. He really wanted Cuba. He couldn't get Cuba, and at this time, which we're going to get into in the Pirates of the Caribbean, that the Jewish, Hebrew, Negro, Sephardic Jews are funding the pirates that are attacking Spain for the expulsion of 1492. And they never gave up. They were always popping. So Pirates of the Caribbean will show you every Jewish financier of those shipping credit pioneers, because they all dealt when they took over Jamaica. They funded Cromwell to take Jamaica, and once he took Jamaica, he got the English stronghold, and this also became what? So I'm talking to Jamaicans now. When I speak to your indigenous nature, you had an antediluvian matriarchal line that protected these paternal Judaic lines. I will say that again. A lot of you people, which we'll get into, had a matrilineal, antediluvian, pre-Egypt, pre-everything, antediluvian matriarch who was the bosom of Egypt, Ramses and them, the bosom of Judah, Israel, and all those 12 tribes, the bosom of what we call Tyre, Phoenicia, Sidonia. Certain people always came here. The antediluvians gave them. Yeah, exactly. So you have to understand, you have a paternal link from this side and an ancient link from this side. In Jamaica, you had the last link, a stronghold of bloodline of Judaic Sephardic Hebrews that went to Jamaica. We can get into North America, part 6, 7, or 8, but I had to run that through so that we can understand what we were looking at. And I want you to go to that last page, Pirates of the Caribbean. You see that page? It ain't the last. I want to see the page on the big screen. It's going to say Pirates of the Caribbean.
Here you go.
Safari. We're going to land on that. I'm going to land on the fact that we're going to give y'all some real historical primary sources for Pirates of the Caribbean Part 2. We did Part 1. It was nice and calm and quiet.
It's time to go crazy.
Hey,
I want to give a shout out to Matt, Shout out to Monte, brother, with the news. Shout out to Garden Green, Sherry, everybody in the Autonomous Party, Tecumseh. Shout out to my man Opie Mihai. I want to shout out my Brooklyn homies, my man Tariq from Brooklyn that's looking at this like, yo, give me that genealogy. He just texted me like, yo, I need that. I'm going to shout out my brother out because he gave me a lot of info. We go back and forth. So he got that because he got something for me and he know what it is. Shout out to everybody. You're going to take 2 or 3 questions.
All right.
Go
ahead, man.
Real quick. And he set us up, Monte. 9. He set us up. Because now, we got to do the Pirates of the Caribbean part 2. So he did that. Like, 9 know what he's doing.
That's good promo. That boy came with that Master P. You got to promote the next shit while you own the new shit.
Hey, go ahead now.
Yo, and the first pirate they're going to get is a Sephardic Jew funding his own ship.
Okay. Abarashon, you heard me? Hey, your shirt say Abarashon, you heard me? Underneath that American Maroon shit, you know what I'm saying? Just let people know, you know what I'm saying? That's Sephardic, you know what I'm saying? That Hebrew, Abar, you know what I mean? Eber, the noun. People think it's just an action. But however, I mean, I appreciate you coming. We're gonna do, you with the party. So when we do these builds, I always gotta give a shout out to 9 Ether. And these builds, because we be talking on the backdrop after we do certain builds, and this how this naturally came about within the. Because
how they all come about.
Yeah, because I was really gonna go another direction, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I will go, and it's still tied to this. That's what's crazy about it. So when I thought about it, I'm like, we got to go ahead and do this first, so that I can come in and give you this, this gola.
That's how when we was talking about it, I said it's an 8-10 part series because it's the culmination of what occurred. And
I gotta give you in these ways.
Yeah.
Hey, but it's one thing that gotta be talked about that normally I'll be ready. I don't play by time, but this right here is important. You ain't even hit this one, bro.
Okay, Yale, Avalon Project. What we got up there? Shout out to Yale. I've been deep diving in this for.
Oh shit! Hold up, wait. Thank you.
There's no way we could go without this, bro.
All right, so understand something, okay? This is
I
Yale.
just put it in the chat.
That's Yale. Y'all see Yale?
Yeah.
I'm a Yale.
The Lillian Goldman Law Library. Avalon Project.
I'm a Yale at y'all real quick though. All right, holler at me. You know what I'm talking about?
Shout out to Yale.
Yell at him. Yeah. I'm yelling at y'all real quick though. Pete Gang. We said this in the Roman situation a couple weeks, maybe if you've been watching this every Sunday on Sunday service, and we've been doing this Roman foundational things and certain things. You heard what I'm talking about? I'm talking about because I'm showing y'all sources. And ain't no pseudo shit what you gonna say.
And Mac, the beautiful thing is that Mission Maximilius started his travel in 1670. This is beautiful.
Come on now.
You got his book.
We're gonna get out of here on this one. Because I got a lot of places we can go. Even though I'm in my city on Citron right now, Baron P. Ain't it? BSB. We on Citron good night, ain't it, B? Oh yeah, we live.
Shout out to Florida.
Shout
out to Florida.
Listen here now. Pay attention. I'm gonna yell at y'all real quick. I want you to pay attention. If you hear what I'm saying, you should understand what I'm saying. We showed y'all this, but now I want to make sure I show it to you tonight for you to understand the time period from Cromwell, right? 1650s, and we actually done walked you from 1492 into the 17th century, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So
we done went from Europe to America.
Right, 1669. Now, we also mentioned to y'all, if y'all ain't been paying attention, we brought up the dude by the name of John Locke with the E. John Locke with the E, tied to the Lord Proprietors of the Carolinas. Oh, yeah, that part. The fundamental constitution in the time period when the Puritans are coming over here in America, these things and these Lord Proprietors are in place, tied to these documents like this in America. We always like to land in America. Shout out to my Maroon folk in America. You
got to make it make sense to us.
Yeah. Look what it say though. You know what I'm talking about? Actually, it's actually gonna be Article 97, Monte. that really highlights this document the most, because they're gonna have to read it themselves.
They just see the name here. Just want to make sure we point it to them. That's all.
All right. So at that point, I'm gonna say Article 97.
Yeah.
It's showing you that John Locke and the influence of this document is allowing people such as Jews, heathens, and other groups of people, but obviously within Article 97 is telling you that these Jews, we're just talking about with Menasseh and all these other folk, amongst the indigenous people in the Carolinas are here. You heard what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
And it's there. And we brought it up before. And these John Eliot, John Locke, you know what I'm saying? All these folk got an influence. Also political ideal of why they're allowing things in America's Lord proprietors and shit. You heard me? You know what I'm talking about? Like I said, man, I could have went crazy, but I had to stay in line just so y'all can get this point down. That we ain't capping over here at the party about anything we saying about what we doing. And at that point, it's Maranatha. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. And you know what it is. Give thanks. Thanks is given. You know what time it is.
Oh, yeah. Thanksgiving. Okay, amen. We're going to give a little Thanksgiving. I'm going to add at the end of this, at this time of King James's time and Cromwell time, Cromwell is for the Church of England, knowing that the Church of England is against the Church of Spain. Rome is at odds with King James, was at odds with this church for about 60 years at that particular time. And Cromwell is just a disgruntled guy under his own kingdom who doesn't like his monarch having true absolute power. And he takes over that situation. In 1660s over here, you have what? Free Negroes of color. You have in 1670, Elizabeth Key has 500 acres. She sued for her freedom prior to that. We know that there were free people of color, and we're also going to later on have a list of 50 free Negro women of color from 1650 to 1750 with more than 200 acres each and source material that we've been working on. And trust me, the truth is here. So the 1600s, y'all want to look at what's going on, you have to correlate things.
Yeah.
That's what I'll say.
Matt.
I'm done. I ain't gonna lie.
Hey, well, with that being said.
Somebody in the chat says, so I pay attention. I'm in the chat. I pay attention. You know what I'm saying? Even though we're doing the bill.
You'll get one.
Live in the chat. And somebody said Angola. What does Angola mean? You heard me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to show you something next week, Sunday. Give thanks. Angola. That's tied to this. This is why I had to do this first.
Right.
I'm going to do the etymology. I'm going to show you everything. Because, Monte, we just went to Dallas.
Yeah.
We did the interview. And I'm going to say, what's the prison? You know what I'm talking about? Angola. Yeah. So we're going to get to what this word Angola tied to these, you see where it say black Jews over there, right?
Yeah.
In Louisiana.
Use that name for a reason.
My question is, who colonized Angola in 1400s?
Oh, okay. What they do? That's what I'm gonna show.
That was Portuguese Jews.
Portuguese.
Yeah.
Portuguese.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nick, that was a safe haven for Portuguese Jews.
Yep.
Okay, Negro. Okay.
That part. Next week Sunday, tap in Maranatha. The harsh reality is live life autonomously. Monte, keep doing your thizzle, homeboy with the news. And I appreciate everybody that's been tapping in. Go to theautonomousparty.com. When you go there, you see Maroonville, and a lot of the information from this vibe right here gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? By Wednesday, guaranteed. And then you'll be able to keep up with the sources. We're gonna put a lot of information tied to this video on our Patreon. It's gonna be for free Sunday service, just so we can get y'all accumulated to our systematic ways of doing things autonomously. You heard me? Tap in. Peace.
Hey, but there we go. Peace to the party.
They try to write us out the pages, but truth don't die, it just waits. And generations hear its echo underneath the things they change. Oh.
way before they painted pictures white. The story traveled overseas in light. Exiles running from the Inquisition's fire, carrying covenant and ancient choir. Moorish shades in the Amsterdam rain, brown-skinned rabbis with Iberian names. Menasseh opened up the book again, said the tribes were living on American plains. Whoa.
Copper sons, tawny daughters, walked this land before the borders. Everybody knew the signs, everybody felt the line.
Hidden Hebrew in the land, we were written in the sand. From the islands to the Carolinas, same blood, same fire, same promise inside us. If they cover up the truth, still the truth gon' rise again. Hidden Hebrew in the land, you can hear it in the wind. Cromwell reading hope of Israel, saw the prophets in the stories we tell. Said the nations on this copper ground look like Spain's Jews when the sun went down. Puritan eyes saw a mirror too, Old Testament ways in the native crew. Drums like songs, smoke like prayer, memories speaking through the sun-kissed air.
We ain't new to this land,
we been here from the start.
we ain't strangers to the Lord. They're gonna brand it on the heart.
Hidden Hebrew in the land, we were written in the sand. From the islands to the Carolinas, same blood, same fire, same promise inside us. If they cover up the truth, still the truth gon' rise again.
Hidden Hebrew in the land,
yeah,
you can hear it in the wind.
Southern pines gave freedom to the Jew in the Carolina line. So Sephardic seas met the maroon tribes, mixed the prayers with the river tides. Colored tongues with that Geula flame, still the same people though they changed our name. From Suriname heat to the low country sand, that Hebrew root kept holding the land. Oh,
They try to bury what we carry, try to hide it in the maps, but the drums remember stories that the textbooks won't unwrap.
lift your voice, let the truth run free. We the ones they said we couldn't be. Every exile finds their shore.